Welcome in, have a seat. Kick back and relax, cause it's that time of the week. How's your day? Was it great? Well, it'll get better with Otalku Cafe. Nostalgia, let the memories bloom. All these stories in my head are gonna make me go boom. Kick back and relax, turn the volume to the max, bob your head until you're dead. Yeah. Yeah. Kick back and relax, turn the volume to the max, bob your head until you're dead. Yeah.
Goki Kenyo, minasama, daijoubu desu ka? I am your CEO of Otalku Cafe, Ethan speaking. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Today, I am joined by the notorious, the guy with too many shows, Chris. Chris, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing all right.
Well, it's better than the alternative. It's better than Matt today.
Just catching up.
Gotta love the last minute grind, huh?
Yep.
Gotta love the last minute grind. You may be wondering how we got here, where Matt's not opening the show and we have Chris as his replacement. A rare chance where you don't see Matt on the show. Well, Matt had a little accident at work and Matt damn near broke his ankle. So Matt's now a gimp for the next few weeks and he's got boo-boo face today, which rightfully I understand. And he's also on happy pills because I'm sure his ankle fucking hurts like hell. So you got us today.
As someone who fucked up my ankle like a year ago, I understand the pain entirely.
Yeah, but he's got his significant other. He gets to have a nice, happy, healthy recovery, full of love and showers and pills, and
yeah,
better than some of us. I'll tell you what. If I fucked up my ankle, I'm by my fucking self, gimping around my entire house trying to get from point A to point B. So I get it. All right. With that said, we'll do our normal spiel where we'll go into news, and then Chris is going to do a lot of talking early on because he's got a billion shows that I'm not watching. So
yeah.
Yay. All right, let's go ahead and kick this motherfucker off. News. First news. Light novel Isekai Mokushiko Miongyara. I believe I spelled that I said that all fucked up. Anyway, gets a TV anime. Scheduled for sometime in 2020, I'd imagine 2025. We get a synopsis. Takuto Ida succumbed to illness at a young age and ended up reincarnating in a world that resembles the fantasy turn-based strategy game Eternal Nations. Not only did he reincarnate into his favorite game, but as the god who commands the evil civilization Myongara. With Myongara's beautiful hero unit, Sludge Witch Ato by his side, not even legendarily difficult race traits will stand in the way of restarting their civilization. All right. That's okay. Let's see what we get. A second episode of second season of Tensai Kizoku Kante Skill de Naregaru announced for fall 2024. Or better known as a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. So following its completion on Sunday, it announced that it will get a second season. Chris, is this one of your shows?
Huh? What? No, that's not one of my shows.
That's not one of your shows. Wow, one of the rare shows Chris is not watching.
There's only a few.
All right. And yes, Matt, I got your message. What do we got else? What do we got else before I move on? Not that one. Not that one. New anime. Class no Daikirai na Joshi no Kekkon suru koto ni nata gets a TV anime. Looks like
I'm
it's
hyped
gonna.
for this one.
Yes, I did see. I think a preview of this. AKA that Japanese translation is "I'm getting married to a girl I hate in my class." I think I did see something on this, and it looks very interesting.
It
Currently,
wasn't much, but I'm reading the manga for this series. I really enjoy it.
yeah,
Hopefully, the anime lives up to my expectations.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Done. Send that to Matt. Send that to Matt. That's done, and then we'll put mine on there because fuck it, why not? There we go. All right. Yeah, anyway, so synopsis, now that we've gotten that taken care of. Synopsis. Saito Hojo, a high school student, married Sakuramori Akane, a classmate and his worst enemy at school. If you tell the rest of the class we're married, I'll kill you. I don't want them to know either. There's no point in that. Their newlywed life was not going well, and they were constantly arguing. However, as they go about their daily lives, the gap between them narrows. They have more enjoyable times together, and they gradually come to understand one another. Saito discovers Akane's cute side, which has never been seen before, and Akane gradually recognizes her hidden emotions. The heart-pounding newlywed life of two people who can't seem to be honest with each other starts here. Tsundere City, this looks like.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Moving on. One moment. Chotto mate kudasai. What else we got? Let's see. And we'll get into those momentarily. Yep, that's there. Okay, and basically the last three news that we have is pretty critical, I'd say. The first one is we get actually I combine two of them. Tsukimichi and Unnamed Memory, both shows that Matt and I watched. Or sorry, not Matt and I, Chris and I watched this season and thoroughly enjoyed, are getting second seasons and third seasons respectively of the show. Tsukimichi gets a third season following its pretty solid conclusion on Monday as we record on Wednesday, and Unnamed Memory, bafflingly so, gets a second season. Perhaps not. Chris and I will debate that momentarily. Definitely looks like second season is going to be in winter 2025 for Unnamed Memory. So we're going to get that sometime in the December, January timeframe. And then for Tsukimichi, just probably sometime in 2025, I'd imagine, from that standpoint. And then last but not least, Chris, I don't know, to your heart's content or to your heart's sorrow, My Hero Academia ends its manga run in 5 chapters in 2
Yeah, it's
months.
finally over.
It's finally over, and it looks like Chris is excited that My Hero is no more.
Well, it's sort of mixed. In the beginning, I loved My Hero. I have an Oraka pill right here.
Momo supremacy.
But as it's been nearing the end, I've been realizing, man, if only the show didn't take place within a year. If only they spread out this whole it's just too small in my.
Is that really a whole like calendar year from the beginning of this show to like the end? It can't be.
Okay. So right after manga spoilers, but who cares? Right after the final fight, they were in epilogue territory. They're just starting second year of high school.
What?
Yeah.
The final fight that's happening right now in the anime.
Yep.
So that fight gets finished, and then they just go straight into an epilogue, and the epilogue is the second year?
Yes. Well, there's going to be multiple epilogue chapters, but the one that came out like 2 chapters ago was them them finishing their first year.
That sucks.
Yeah, it could have been so much more. They barely showed any of the characters' backstories. They're only just shoehorning them in a couple of them in the final fight. They could have really like spread this show out or spread the series out to the full 3 years.
That sucks royally.
Yep. Especially when My Hero Academia Vigilantes a spin-off not even made by Horikoshi is so much better in my opinion to base My Hero.
Shaking my fucking head. That's great. Well, I guess we'll enjoy the ride while it's here, I suppose, eh? All right, cool. So that's it for the news. Chris, you've got a bunch of shows to talk about. Let's go ahead and talk about your shows.
All right. I guess I'll start with shows that I'm only watching, then go into shows that me and Matt have watched.
Sure.
So, okay. I guess I'll start off with fucking show you dropped, Astronaut.
Oh God, you're still watching that?
I finished it. It's over. I really enjoyed it. I don't see the whole like issue you have with the space battle at the end, but in the beginning, but they had another space battle at the end. For some reason, basically, the whole story is about this princess of a planet called Wid. Joins, lands on Earth to try and find this key that her mom left behind to her spaceship, or it gets revealed that's for the spaceship. They find the key right at the fucking front door of the building.
How convenient.
It turns out it's the key to her mom's spaceship. And after it's revealed the pretty boy space alien was a traitor, the inn turns out to be the spaceship, and then it turns to a fucking Voltron robot where they have a fight against this invading force. Oh
that
yeah, it was
awful in my world.
Yeah. A lot of it, while that part was pretty goofy, I did enjoy the romance aspect of the show. I really did enjoy the comedy. The opening was pretty good. But other than that, I can't really give it too much praise because I don't know. It seemed like it didn't really stay with its plot for most of it. It was just slice of life, and we're going to ignore the main plot until the last 2 episodes of the show. I can't really give full or good descriptions for these shows because I'm only just talking about the finales at this point.
Yeah, sure. No, I get it.
Yeah. Let's see.
So what'd you rate it?
3 out of 5.
Okay.
Wait, I can't talk about Ranger Rejects finale. It's not happening. That's next week. I'll talk about Data Live, season 5 next because this is a show I had my hopes for. I talked about it with Sean the last time he was on.
Yeah.
The season 5 finale was pretty good. Or season 5 in general was pretty good. Bunch of life to death battles, people dying, beloved characters for like the last 10 years just getting fucking killed.
Nice.
Easily, coming back to life. The finale was pretty good. I have one complaint though, and they like pretty much skipped out on the main ending that of the show.
Like the one that's manga based?
No, the manga didn't finish for the light novel. Major spoilers. Basically, what happens is Mio, the original spirit who created all the other spirits in the show, gives up her life in order to stop the destruction of the world by the main antagonist, Isaac Westcott. That happens. What doesn't happen in the anime is because she sacrifices herself and dies, Toka, which is a being created from Mio, also dies. But they didn't show that. And then like she's supposed to come back like a year later. They just like played it off like, oh no, she didn't die. We're not going to have this major thing for a 13th episode. We're just going to end it here. And it was sort of disappointing. But besides that, I'm giving it my props. It's like a 4.5.
A 4.5 despite the botched ending. Wow.
The botched ending is why it's not a perfect 5.
Oh, okay.
So if they like give it an OVA, then it's going back to 5, like for that last bit, because they can always like say, "Oh, this is what happened in between," because they sort of time skip it.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
So we found out one of Chris's top 5 shows of the season. All right, there we go.
oh yeah. What's next?
These nuts. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I guess I'll talk about. You're not watching God's Game We Play, right?
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about God's Game We Play because it was one of the English simulcast series this season that I, along with Monster, which I dropped because it was shit, and Kaiju 8, which was
It's
great.
not shit.
Yeah, which is not shit. God's Game We Play is sort of in the middle between being shit and not shit. The comedy was great. The fan service was excellent. The last 2 episodes were sort of... The last episode was terrible because they had a... I'm getting ahead of myself. The final arc of this show was them going into a unbeatable labyrinth, which sucked in a bunch of other humans, and they needed to beat it in order to escape. The legend said like the person who created it is died because they were so bored of waiting for people to do it. Whatever. They sort of made it like a Dark Souls difficulty where everything kills you one shot. The puzzles make no sense. So last episode we had a bunch of hot anime babes take a pool or go into a pool to take a bath to clean up so they can get past this dungeon. It was like a PowerPoint presentation. It was just showing stills of these girls like in bathing suits and bikinis just swimming around in the pool. It was so
they did it for the anti-fan service motherfuckers. They're like, look at the opie bouncing around. Nope, stills.
Yep, just stills. And then for the finale, they finally do, after a bunch of time skips of them like figuring out they need to get 100% in order to awaken the final boss, they do it. The final boss turns out to be Anubis, a moron who kills like all of her allies in like right in the beginning. After the fight, it's pretty anticlimactic, and they just go off, oh hey, time to go play more games, and it was really boring. So I'm going to give this one also it's 3.25.
Okay.
Cut
above mid. Well, it's all mid, but
yeah,
like above the flat mid. It's just regular mid.
It would have been worse, but they pulled at my heartstrings and had Alia sing the opening. The band that did the band that did the ending for both fucking what was this shit romance series with Luna?
With Luna.
The Garu with the earring who was dating that simp guy, and the sister was also after him.
Oh, the fuck. It's like stepsister or some shit.
No, I can't remember it. Whatever, but you know what show I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, they also did the ending for Tales of Wedding Rings.
I
really love that band, so I really love that band. So like that.
I like the ending. I like the ending of Tales of Wedding Rings. That's not only simply because of the fact that you get stills of lingerie.
Oh yeah. The fan service did.
The fan service is great, but no, the song is actually really solid.
Can't wait for season 2.
Oh joy!
Don't worry, they actually fuck.
Yes.
So, yes, they actually fuck. I don't know if they're gonna show it in season 2, but they actually fuck.
Send it to High Dive. We could actually see it on High Dive.
True. Let's see. Fucking. Next, I guess I'll go on to Train.
The big one.
Train was great. Train was fucking awesome.
Choo choo.
Starting off, it shows fucking Poison Pontaro, whatever the fuck that dude's name was, escaping with Yoka, trying to keep her away from all the other friends. Human Pochi gets straight up almost killed by Dog Pochi. There's some stupid battles. We got a fucking Asno style DDT right off the bat. It was great. I was hyped. I wanted to send that shit in the group chat when I saw it, but like I didn't want to spoil the DDT. Afterwards, it shows the two dudes who were controlling the land that was full of little people, and the dude who was controlling Undead Alice's world, try and help Poison Potaro, but they got completely wiped out right in the beginning. After a culmination of discussions between Yoka and her friends, they had a heart-to-heart where they realized that they both fucked up. Poison Potaro comes back to try and kill him, but gets knocked out by the dude who has a fucking swan on his head riding a duck boat. And Yoka fixes the world, redoes the 7G, saving everything. Then the ending is all five of them heading back to Asno, but the world is still slightly fucked up, but not completely fucked up. But like, I really enjoyed the series. It was the ending was great. It's sad that we didn't get Gatunk again. For this show, I'm gonna give it 4.25.
All right, it's another top 10 contender in Chris's mind. There we go.
Oh no, my top 10 are my top 5 are easy because I talk about them all the fucking time. The last 8 are gonna be slightly difficult. Do I have anything else I want to talk about? I guess we'll go with. Huh?
I was gonna say, might as well throw a condition called love in there.
Do I have to? I feel like condition. Wait, you're not watching it, right?
I gave up on it. I stopped after 7.
Oh, you did give up on it. Oh, wait, and Matt didn't talk about it. Matt didn't fucking talk about it. Okay, so I guess I'll talk about a condition called love. So basically, it turns out that Hanoi is like a way worse stalker than we thought.
Oh no!
So it turns out that Hanoi knew Hotaro when they were kids, and she was his first love.
Oh my god.
Also, it turns out that he was there when she got her haircut, and because he was a bitch at the time, didn't fucking do anything and feels regret.
Awful. Absolutely awful.
But that show, which is like completely out of left field, by the way, because like they didn't show like him having like because it seemed like for the most part he was already stalkery due to his commitment to like girls were, but they didn't show like an extended level of him like chasing after her or like keeping her close.
Right.
He seemed like
hungry.
passive.
I said someone's hungry.
Oh yeah. Or yeah, it's just a cat that's trapped because it's not fixed. But he seems passive in the beginning. Like if he really wanted to be with Hotaro again, due to the fact that she was his first love, I thought he would be like more proactive in it.
Sure. Be like, hey, you don't remember this, but we went to school together, and I loved you then. I even love you now. Be with me.
The reason why he doesn't do that is because he would have to reveal, oh, hey, I was also there when you got your hair cut, and you were bullied, and you lost a feeling of what love was.
Awful.
Yeah. This show's another 3.
Psh, barely.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, barely. Fucking. I guess I'll do fucking. Are you watching Windbreaker?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
Nah, I got my fill with Tokyo Revengers, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be another delinquent anime, so I'm good.
It's better though because there's no stupid time. Main character actually. Okay, so you know how we joke about how Jujutsu Kaisen is the king of jump-ins. Main characters just jumping in, beating the crap out of one guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Windbreakers is reversed. One guy beats the crap out of like 10 guys.
Fucking great.
There's no stupid time travel plot. There's no dumb fucking weak main character who only cries. Yeah, I guess I'll finish it off on Windbreaker. This episode of Windbreaker follows after the battle royale between Bofurin and the enemy team. The enemy gang. I forgot what it is. It's something with Tiger. I forgot. Too many shows. And it's and the class 1A is because they're class 1A. Has to decide their class's grade captain, which is basically the one who rules over their class, making sure they stay in line, don't do anything to get themselves in trouble. Leaves them on patrols and everything. Everyone's like, "Hey, we're gonna make the main character the class captain because he can talk shit and he isn't afraid of getting hit." Main character is shy because he isn't for it because he's shy and he's not really good with social situations. And fuck, it was like, wait, did this episode end? Fuck, I don't remember. Damn, I watched too many shows. I need to stop.
I tell you that all the time, bro. Like, yo, I don't know how you keep up with 30 something shows a season. It's astronomical.
It's because I need to filler some of the great shit with some of the bad shit.
Nah, there's no such thing, bro. I'm not gonna watch no bad shit. You crazy? I try my best not to.
Yeah. Okay. After he gets chosen, he gets introduced to the top 5 of the school that he's gonna have to beat, and that's pretty much where it ends. It was just an episode to introduce more characters, probably for like a season 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed. I enjoyed this show altogether because the fights looked so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll actually later send a clip of some of the fights to the group chat just so you can see them. For this show, I'm going to give it a 4.25.
Okay. Not bad.
My only downsides were the show were there wasn't a lot of like focus on the main characters as in their backstories, while because I believe, as Sean said last time he talked about it, they went over the rival gang's backstory way too much during the whole tournament thing, and not so much on our guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'll end it. You can start your shows.
All right. Well, I don't have many because you watched them all. So
yep.
I only have a couple. The first one I'll start with is Tadaima Okaeri, our Omegaverse anime. And basically for our season finale of that, it wasn't terrible, I'd say. It was cute. In the end, it's Yuki as well as Hikari, but Yuki really starts convincing Mochizuki to open up his heart and, you know, give Masaki and Hiromu another chance, you know, in terms of like the whole alpha omega, like can't live with alphas if you're not fucking them type of vibe. And they have like, you know, a meeting eventually because basically Masaki texts Mochizuki like, "Hey, I'm gonna be at the park, normal time. Be nice to see you." And so he does show up, but he's still tense. He apologizes, but he's still tense about everything. And when Hikari asks to play with Michi, he's like, "Nope, can't do it. Nope, cannot do it." And it's basically Hikari that's just like, "I want to play. Like, please let him play. I love playing with him. I love Michi, all this stuff." And like at the end of the day, it's the power of a child. You want to say no a lot of times to children, but children are children, and it's really difficult to say no. So eventually he breaks, and he just he lets the children play. He continues to talk with Masaki and Hiromu, and they get on a good understanding, and things end well from that perspective. And in the end, even though it's the middle of June, we did get a Christmas finale with everybody being at the house. Every single major character comes through, makes an appearance. There's more flirting amongst all the men in the house because there's no women clearly. And yeah, basically all's well that ends well from that perspective. The children are happy, the family's happy, the friends are happy, that everybody's happy. Very loving, very lovey-dovey end. In all, I would say I gave this show. What number do I want to give it? I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. The again, Matt, I say this very often. Matt is the one who got me into watching LGBTQ plus friendly anime. Don't regret it. I enjoy a good portion of the ones that I've seen thus far, but this isn't going to be one of the ones that I sit there and recommend to people. I'm not trying to chastise the whole idea of Omegaverse and the principle of it being really more prevalent in furry anime. Like I feel like it makes more sense if once you actually fully understand what Omegaverse is. And it took a long ass time for me to figure that out, but once I figured it out and you understand the crux of Omegaverse, seeing it applied in human terms is just odd in my humble opinion. As a cis male that has no thing in the race, no horse in the race, I find it odd. And when you think of like animals, like same-sex animals, like seahorses the male seahorses are the ones who give birth. There's gay love with dolphins, and there's other creatures in like the animal world that can like impregnate themselves, or the males are the one that have children. Like that makes more sense when you look at it from a literal aspect, and to see it applied in human technology, no matter which way of the spectrum you feel in terms of LGBTQ plus, and I would say in particular trans people, because it kind of gives like a trans vibe. It's just something a little bit like odd to it from me. So I never really got holistically around to like, yep, this is normal. And that's not an insult. Like I said, I don't want to insult anybody. Just didn't click for me. So I still enjoyed the show for what it was, though. Having Hikari, Michi, having all the little kids, they were wonderful to see. They were very impactful. And at the end of the day, when you look at children, especially children of that age, they are very inspiring, and they are a good source of galvanization to whatever a parent or a person that is around that child consistently will do, act, say, feel, so forth and so on. And so they represented that really well. And all things considered, Hiromu and Masaki, though they were a wonderful couple. They were one of the better couples of the season, in my opinion. Who wouldn't want to have a husband like Hiromu? Who wouldn't want to have someone to like take care of the house like Masaki? I thought they were a wonderful pair, and I thought that their love was very like vibrant, exuberant, like very out there, but very warm. There was never any sense of real dissension or anything of the sort that you get with normal couples. They just fell into dissentious circumstances at times, but they all persevered, and I thought that was fabulous. So 3.5 out of 5 for me for Tadaima Okaeri. And then the other show, I guess, that I could talk about, since you're watching all the other ones with me, are what's it called? My Hero. And today's episode of My Hero, Chris, or this week's, I should say, episode of My Hero, we get the Dabi backstory in this episode. So we get the Dabi backstory, and it's basically a lot of it is being told by the evil the evil scientist guy that was the one who helped craft Shigaraki and All for One. And we just basically get to see the backstory of what happens after he sets himself on fire and is presumed dead inside of those forest mountains after the whole rigmarole that he had with his father prior to that night. And we see that he was in a coma for 3 years, and he went through puberty in the coma, and he went back. We find out he went back to the house because he wanted to go back to the house. And bear in mind, right, they kept him alive, but the way that they set up his body, if he didn't stay with them and continue to receive recuperations and things of that nature, he would have died within a month, right? But when he heads to the house, he sees basically Endeavor just fucking abusing the shit out of Shoto, just continuously abusing him. And Dabi just has this heartbreaking realization, nothing about this family's changed. They don't miss me. They're moving on. Endeavor's still a fucking asshole of a father. And it broke him. And so then basically what kept him alive past that 1 month and past all those years that he stayed alive was simply his hate for his father, his hate for heroing. It kept him alive. And so we get an incredible battle between Shota and Dabi. And yeah, eventually at the end of the day, Shota perseveres. He uses his new ice power that he has, and he's literally able, despite the fact that Dabi's blue flames are stupidly sun equivalent hot, he manages to put out those flames and take out Dabi. I don't think Dabi's dead. He's on the brink of death probably, but he's not dead yet. They just basically kind of froze him and he embered himself out. So but all in all, very, very solid episode in my opinion. They built the drama really well, and we see Shota basically come into his own, because again, as we know with My Hero, everything is about Bakugo, Deku, Uraraka. And Shota is basically the third guy. He's the top 3 of the class, but he doesn't get as much love, despite having, in my opinion, actually one of the better stories. When you think of the backstories of My Hero, I feel like Shota has one of the best contrived backstories, because of the fact that I find that it's really relatable. I think that's a very relatable backstory to people that endure those type of traumas, and so I feel there's more depth and more weight to it. So I'm glad to see he got a shining moment here in this episode. That's about it for me. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of our shows. Yay! I gotta figure out which ones we're gonna talk about though, because I don't know. Which ones are we gonna talk about?
Well, we should probably talk about since it's not done yet, Whisper.
Yeah, we can start off with Whisper. That's fine. Yeah, so Whisper Me a Love Song came back this week with episode 9, and it was pretty solid. At first it was pretty cringe, but I thought it was pretty solid. Basically, we see what's her dick? Give me a second to find her name. Himari. She finishes hearing Shiho's story, and she wants to, Shiho tells her hey, what you heard, don't say shit. Nobody knows, don't want nobody to know. Keep it between us, a secret between friends. Okay, no problem. So she basically goes around that though, and she convinces Momoka senpai to hey, let's have a taste gathering with all of our friends. Sure, why not? So she brings the bandmates over from Laurely, and because Himari is friends with all the SS girl bands, she brings them, and it is contentious. It is cringe. It does not go the way Himari wants it. Even Shiho is pissed off, hey, I told you my secrets for you to not do some shit like this, because this is some bullshit, bitch. And Himari is really upset. But basically, when it's revealed to Shiho that Himari and Yori are together, they're in an official relationship, because Shiho knows what's going on with Aki and her feelings. She basically manipulates the situation to kind of gain favor for her request, for Aki's request. Because again, keep in mind, in episode, I believe it was episode 8, they basically made a bet hey, if Laurely does better than SS Girls at the cultural festival, what's it called? Or sorry, reverse. If SS Girls do better than Laurely, you'll tell me why you quit the band. Okay, no problem. But then Shiho's I'm not getting shit out of this. So let's do this. If we do better, we keep Himari as our permanent manager. Yeah. And everyone is shocked, oh my God, they don't want to bring Himari into the fold. But Himari agrees, because she likes Shiho and she likes Momoka, as well as she likes her girlfriend and her band. So She agrees, and the odds are raised basically from that perspective. And we basically see Himari do a pretty good job of being a manager, right? Like she records the band when they perform. She's getting them the booking sessions, and she's basically ingraining herself as part of the band. And Aki and Yori have a conversation, but that's not really too critical. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna do our best. Yay, we're gonna do our best. But that's not really consequential. What's really consequential is they go out to dinner after one of the practice sessions, and Himari, she's always asking probing questions, and one of the probing questions, and she sucks at it. Yeah, she sucks at it. But one of the questions that she asks to Momoka and Shiho is like, hey, how did you guys like link up? Like, how long have you been together? And they're like, oh, just about a year. They're like, wow, how did you grow so close within a year? And the mood immediately goes somber. And they're basically like, yeah, it's about that time of year, isn't it? And they're like, yeah. They're like, hey, are you available next Sunday? And she goes, yeah, I should be. And she's like, okay, great. We're going to take you somewhere and we're going to explain to you how we got so close. So presumably it's going to be something with a dead person, I would have to imagine, right? So that's pretty somber from that perspective, but it adds intrigue from that piece as well. So we'll look forward to episode 10. Chris, any thoughts on what transpired in Whisper?
Shio probably has a huge fucking crush on Aki for her to be reacting like this.
No, I don't think on Aki. I think she's got a crush now on Himari.
Well, I meant before. Like why she left, because Aki had a thing for Yori. Now she realized, oh hey, Yori's with fucking Himari.
But Yori wasn't part of the band when she had left prior to.
No,
Yori
I meant Shio had a thing for Aki. Shio had a thing for Aki, but because Aki knew Yori like since middle school,
yeah,
she had a thing for her.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
But it's a good episode.
It was a good episode. I'm really disappointed that I can't put this in my 13.
Well, we're not going to be doing it till like the 10th, right? You should be able, since it's ending next week. Or
no, they said they don't know when they're gonna. They don't know when they're gonna put episodes 11 and 12 out. I think that was what they said in the thing. They're like, oh, episode 10 is.
Are there 12 episodes?
There are 12 episodes, yeah. Unless they changed it to 10. I don't foresee them changing it to 10. There's no way, because they have to go through this sad episode of whatever this reveal is going to be, and then there's going to be probably one more attempt to like try and wrangle Himari in, or try and like talk the girls, their final like preps, and then episode 12 has got to be the cultural festival, and then its results. And don't forget, also they're on summer break now. The cultural festival isn't until they even get back from summer break.
True. Yeah, but they're probably gonna like time skip it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't like things like that. It's like, give me like give me more. You know what I want? I want more. And it doesn't have to be erotic, obviously. It's kind of where my point is going, but it doesn't have to be erotic. I want to see Yori and Himari get closer, like intimately, like physically more intimate, like kisses on the lips, hand holds, like embracing, like long embraces.
That almost never happens in Yuri romance series.
If you want
a show that just has Yuri kisses, watch Sakura. That's an old ass fucking anime from like 6 years ago.
It's not that old, damn. I thought you were going to tell me like an old ass anime from like the early 2000s or the 90s or something. But no. Anyway, so that's what we got basically for Whisper Me a Love Song. Moving on. Let's go. I'm going to try and get all of the penultimates out the way before we get onto finales.
Mushoku Tensei?
Yeah, right. Let me see. Yeah. No, I want to save Mushoku Tensei. I want to save that. I'm going to save that for like a little bit. Let's go with well, no, Misfit didn't have one this week. All right, let's go with Spice and Wolf. And this week's Spice and Wolf. Pretty solid.
Isn't this technically a chapter of the last episode of the season?
No, I think the previous week's was. I don't know. It's a continuous course. So it's just episode 13.
True. Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. So we'll just talk about Spice and Wolf. Pretty solid episode. Basically, Nora Holo and what's his dick?
Kraft.
They have like a celebratory private dinner, and Nora and Kraft are hitting it off, and of course we
Yo,
get
Hollow gets
fucking,
fucking jealous.
of course, always gets jealous, but at the same time she's exhausted. She did a lot of work in her wolf form. She's been stressed over Kraft and his stress, being in the rain, so she's just very exhausted, and she's drinking, and she's not even eating much, which is rare, and she just fucking point blank passes out in the middle of the dinner. And so Kraft becomes fucking caretaker, and he basically brings her back up by himself to the inn, lays her down, changes her, I think, puts her underneath like multiple blankets so she like doesn't get cold, and goes and starts doing a bunch of research on how to help people get over colds. And we see her wake up, and she's like, "Oh, I can't believe this motherfucker's not here when I woke up. How dare he?" And he comes in with
The reason why she gets so upset is because, like, while she's passed out, she's having dreams of her adventure with Kraft.
Yeah, she is, and she's
And
really
then, like,
reminiscent.
and her's like, oh man, why is he like so focused on this stupid shepherd bitch? Focus on me. I'm Hollow the Wise Wolf.
Mm-hmm. Basically. And so, and then for a lot of the episode is just Kraft like taking care of her. I didn't realize. I think that's probably a possibility, like in terms of like the four like temperaments of humans. Hot, cold, moist, and wet, moist and dry. And you have to eat certain foods that interact with certain feelings, and you have to kind of be aware of those things. So he's got a strict diet for Holo going on, but eventually Holo kind of kicks out of it. She had a fever. She wakes up the next afternoon, after sleeping, and, things are well. And then she gets jealous again, because one of the things that Holo wants that she liked very much was goat milk as part of her porridge. And, she's like, I want the same thing for dinner. And she's like, well, goat milk is always fresh in the morning. I'll have to speak to Nora. And she's like, oh, always with fucking Nora. Basically, she went off. Right. And not so bad, but still the jealousy is just oozing out of her.
Yeah.
And eventually she goes back to sleep, wakes up, Kraft returns with food, and returns with Nora. You're like, hey, Nora wanted to see how you were doing, and then she's like, oh, I don't feel well. And she passes the right the fuck back out as like a joke. And Nora's like, oh my God, are you okay? Not realizing that she hates this bitch. But they end up having like a pretty decent conversation. And, all things considered, like, they're pretty, like, I would say that they're straight. There's no contention between them. And basically the episode ends with everybody laughing as Holo continues to get better.
Making fun of Kraft being a foolish sheep.
Basically making fun of Kraft. When in doubt, make fun of Kraft. And Kraft just sits there and takes
after credit.
There was an after credit?
I think it was an after credit where it shows Hollow talking to the silver-haired wolf girl, aka possibly her daughter.
No, I did not see this.
It wasn't anything big. It was just Hollow, the girl asking about Kraft and saying that's not all there is to your adventure. And then Hollow's like, oh no, there's plenty more that I can talk about.
So that's where you got that it's the end of the season. That makes total fucking sense. End of the core.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, I didn't see that part at all.
Yeah, that was after credit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. And we'll continue on with the adventures starting on Monday again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. I guess we can talk about. No, I want to say
there's Demon Slayer.
Yeah, I know.
This is a new episode. This is a part of the new season for Slime because we had a new opening.
Yeah, we had a new OP. Yeah, let's talk about Slime. Let's talk about Slime, then we'll talk about Demon Slayer, then Kaiju, then Mushoku. Yeah.
You saw Kaiju?
Yes, of course I did. Of course I fucking saw Kaiju.
It was so good. It was so good. I can't wait for the English.
All right. So let's talk about Slime real quick. New core of Slime means new OP. Not a bad OP, I'd say.
Fucking Minna Ryan, the queen of isekai songs, is back with the ending.
Yeah, all these like type of. I just listened to the song. I'm like, okay, it's not bad. It's not bad. But no, the episode is basically a lot of planning again,
the discussion.
Yeah, a lot
discussion.
more, back to discussions, back to conversations. Basically, Rimuru is planning the festival for everybody and trying to get like his ducks in a row. Like all of his people are all doing their own thing or prepping their own like display showcase type of vibe. And yeah, like I said, just a lot of that. And then also from the other side, a lot of planning from who's the Asian guy that is evil? I forget his name.
The Asian, you mean the one guild leader,
No.
the one who told Haruka that Rimuru was evil.
Yeah, basically.
I'll look it up.
Let me click on the fucking thing. What's his fucking name? It's somewhere here.
This, yeah, okay.
Yuki?
Karazaka Yuki. Yeah.
Yeah, Kagurazaka. Kagurazaka. Yeah, so Kagurazaka basically is also doing his own planning, setting the stage for what I imagine is going to occur at some point in Core 2. So that happened, and then yeah, just rumor going back and forth with one of the guys from the other town. Is his name here? Who's that fucking guy? These are all the main characters. This like slime ball looking fuck.
Slime ball looking fuck.
Yeah, he's like the slimy guy. He's like fat. He was like talking to the other dude that was about like, he's talking about slavery and shit. And he's like, I don't want to be part of this bullshit. And basically kicked him out.
Talking about the merchant.
Yeah, the merchant. We can just call him the merchant. That's fine. Not a big deal. So yeah, so him and the merchant had a lot of good conversation back and forth in terms of things. And basically, one of the key things that they discussed is Veldora wants to do a hibachi fucking grill. And so he's like, hey, can I get your 5 best people to help Veldora? And don't worry, we'll protect them. They're not going to die. And assuming they do great, they'll get an extra prize, an extra reward because they helped Veldora, the fucking unfucking trained fucking dog dragon that we have in essence. And so there was a discussion from that standpoint. But yeah, like I said, just a lot of discussions in terms of like the future of the episodes to come from that perspective as they continue to push on to the cultural festival. So not a lot otherwise to it. So not bad.
Yeah, it was just mostly discussion, which is a lot of episodes of Slime. Now,
yeah.
Recently.
Yeah, this season especially has had a lot of discussion. And it's like, all right, well, it is what it is. Okay, cool. Moving on. We'll go with Demon Slayer. Let's go with Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with Demon Slayer.
Himajima did nothing wrong.
Who?
Himajima. The
Oh no, he didn't do nothing wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. Basically, Himajima, of course,
we get his backstory.
Yeah, we get his backstory as Tanjiro basically manages to push it a whole show. He put one show, 378 feet. He pushes it, and he's overheated. He's exhausted. He's dehydrated. He's literally about to like just die from dehydration. And then we see Hiwajima come, just fucking pour gallons and gallons from his fucking gourd onto fucking Tanjiro. But basically tells Tanjiro like, hey, I acknowledge you. You did amazing in the Sword Village arc. Like, you put the villagers over your demon sister, and that's commendable. And he's like, no. He's like, my demon sister made the choice for me. He's like, I was weak and I hesitated because I care about my sister a little bit more than I care about the villagers. But she took the choice out of my hands and she made it for me to take care of the villagers. So I can't take credit for that. And even then, Hiwajima was like, I still acknowledge you because you just acknowledged that before me. Like, hey, and he mentions, Tanjiro in particular mentions, he's like, my journey isn't about me being so righteous as you claim. My journey is about the people that help me along the way, not stray from the path that I'm supposed to be on. And, basically it touches Hiwajima because he proceeds to give his backstory about how he was a caretaker to a bunch of orphans, and the kids were all very sweet kids. But kids are selfish. Kids are very, they don't understand the world. They don't understand the consequences of when they are selfish, things of that nature. And so we see in particular one of the kids, naughty kid, he stays out too late, and a demon finds him, and the demon's like, "Hey, I'm gonna eat you," and he's like, "No, don't eat me. Eat everybody else and leave me alive." So he basically leads the demon to the orphanage, and the basically Iwajima puts every single night he puts out wisteria incense to keep the demons away, because again the demons are more prevalent in this time. And the kid basically puts out every incense and allows the fucking kids to all get fucking killed. They all just die. All of them die except for one, right? One kid, the youngest kid, she's 4 years old. She listened to Iwajima and basically was like, "Hey, she's like, stand back, don't look, don't do nothing." Like, all right, and she does. And he proceeds to go and with his bare fists just pummel the absolute shit out of this demon for hours and hours until the sun rises and the demon's body is no more. However, because of that, freaking the body's not there. There's 7 dead children, and the girl, because she wasn't paying attention or looking and seeing what was going on, pins the blame on Iwajima. And basically he's sentenced to death. He's in a cage, he's all fucked up, and he's sentenced to death. And he doesn't blame the child, but he just says like children don't know any better. And so I've always had that like idea that before you, children don't know any better. And if it wasn't for Oyakata, the master, he wouldn't have survived. He would have been killed. And so because he was saved, he turned himself to be a demon slayer, and now he's one of the best demon slayers that there is. And so we get that backstory. It inspires Tanjiro. Tanjiro's very I'm very grateful to hear the story, and he promises to keep fulfilling his tasks and things of that nature. And then he basically goes off on his next adventure, and he ends up at Giyu. But prior to that, I am skipping a point. Prior to that, we see as Tanjiro is moving the stone, what's his dick? Zenitsu, his crow gives him a letter, and it's a funny interaction between him and the crow. But when he reads the letter, it's not so funny. We don't know what's in the letter, but basically Zenitsu is dead, like just dead, stone face serious, and he's basically like reevaluating a lot of things in his life and where he is as a demon slayer and where he wants to be as a demon slayer. And again, we don't know what's going on at this stage, but it's very serious to the point that Zenitsu, the fun-loving fucking scaredy cat, is just dead serious, and he's in like a meditative mode. Doesn't even acknowledge Tanjiro basically when Tanjiro goes off to the next town, which is with Giyu. And yeah, so very interested to see what that letter is going to contain and how that affects Zenitsu as a whole and the series. Have you read this the manga, Chris, or no?
Yes.
So you already know.
I already know.
You already know. Is it good?
It goes into Zenitsu's backstory.
We get Zenitsu's backstory from that. That'll be something from the movie, I imagine, that they make, or is it going to be another season?
Well, okay. To be
Where
fair,
do you stand on that?
What? The fact that the final arc is going to be in 3 movies? I think it's stupid, especially because they're gonna. I think it's stupid specifically because they're just going to turn into an anime. They did it with every single movie that came out.
Yeah.
Mugen Train, fucking what's it called? Red Light District.
Yeah.
No, not Red Light. Swordsmith, Hashira Training. We all got anime series of them. They're gonna just turn this one into a fucking anime series as well. I'm not even like holding my breath of them not doing it. What is gonna surprise me is how they're gonna fit fucking 9 fights into 3 movies. Because that's what's gonna be. There are 9 fights in those 3 movies for the final arc. And they're all pretty big fights.
9 fights, but there's only 4. There's only 4 Moons and Muzan. That's 5.
There are 9 fights. Some are like, some have like people die in the middle. Some are with characters you haven't even fucking met yet.
People are gonna die though.
People are going to die, and then I really hope they have the stupid epilogue in it at the end. But knowing my luck, they probably won't, and the movie's going to turn the movie's gonna go down in rank because of it.
Oh no. What the fuck? But in any case, as we move on, Tanjiro gets to Giyu, and he gets into more bullshit with the fucking with the Wind Hashira. Yeah, and there's some bullshit with that, and that's kind of where the episode kind of ends from that perspective. But we get an after credit, Chris.
Yep.
And the after credit
Smooth Criminal.
to smooth. No, it's not literally the Smooth Criminal, but I mean it's badass. It was my only.
I've seen the edits. You can't trick me to say that Smooth Criminal isn't playing as Muzan heads to the fucking Demon Slayer headquarters.
Even though this is like 120 years like in the past, according to time.
It doesn't matter. Everyone calls him Michael Jackson. I'm calling him Michael Jackson. He
is Michael Jackson. That's him. Woo!
Yep.
No, but no, seriously. Basically, it's a 3-minute after credit. About 2.5 minutes of it is this ominous, and I mean, it's well done. The animation is just absolutely stu-fucking-pendous. It is stupendous. And you got this badass rock music as he's just stepping one step. Literally, it's literally like an Undertaker entrance. That's how fucking long this thing was before he ends up in front of the master. And the master is like, "Oh, you finally come. Pleasure to meet you, Kibusuchi and Muzan." And Muzan's like, "Boy, you look like shit." And that's where the episode ends. And basically, the whole reason why this is found out is the episode actually, before we get to the after credit, the episode actually ends with the Wind Hashira. He's by himself, and he senses something's behind him, and he grabs the thing that's behind him, and it's one of the eyeballs. And as we know, we've seen throughout the season, there's billions upon billions of eyeballs searching for the master and searching for Nezuko. And the Wind Hashira grabs one of the eyeballs. He sees the number 4 on it. He's like, "What the fuck is this?" And then it clicks when he realizes, eyeball, spy, we've been breached. They know something. Muzan knows something. And so now the final episode presumably is going to be basically a race for one of the Hashira, I imagine, to perhaps confront Muzan. And I don't expect that to go well.
It's going to be good.
But we anticipate it's going to be good. And as we said last week, I believe it was last week, these episodes, episode 7 and episode 8 of Demon Slayer, the final 2 episodes, are longer than not. Episode 7 was a 31-minute episode. We anticipate episode 8 is in the hour block in Japan. That's going to be somewhere around 45 to 50 minutes here in the United States, since there's no commercials from that standpoint. Unless you're watching on Hulu, then why the fuck would you watch on Hulu, you stupid idiot? Just pay the money, watch it on Crunchyroll. But in any case, yeah, so that was Demon Slayer. Still a great episode as a whole, though. I'm enjoying the series this season. It's just, for the first time in a while, like, it's not going to be ranked very high in the awards, honestly.
Sadly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't have it rated very high whatsoever. So, but we'll see how that final episode moves it up. I think, honestly, depending on the final episode, it's got a chance to move up one place. If it's that amazing of a final episode, maybe 2. Maybe. But I doubt it. I think it's going to stay where it's at, or it's got a shot to move up one place in my book. So, all right, moving on. Kaiju number 8. Chris is mad it is not in dub.
I want it to be dubbed. The voice actor for Kafka is so... I love all the, like, English voice actors for this show.
Yeah. I watch it obviously in sub. I watch everything in sub unless I absolutely have to watch something in dub. This probably would have been the one. I didn't watch anything in dub this season after the horrendous fucking dub that I felt watching, which was Metallic Rogue last season. I was like, I'm not watching this bullshit in dub. Fuck out of here. So I watched it in sub. Glad I have now in retrospect, because then I wouldn't feel the imminent or the immense regret of having to switch to sub after watching the first 10 episodes in dub. But nonetheless, the penultimate of Kaiju number 8 was fucking phenomenal. It was phenomenal. The episode starts off with basically Kafka trying to like figure out what's next, things of that nature. And actually, no, I lied. The episode starts off with them like determining what they want to do with Kaiju number 8. And they're basically saying, we got to kill this motherfucker and turn him into a weapon. You got to. And the head of that decision is the head director of the Kaiju Defense Force, and that's Shinomiya's father. And before we get to Shinomiya's father, we basically see what's his face? We see Kafka, and he's trying to figure out what's next. And eventually he gets brought. He's like, all right, we're moving you over to HQ as per standard, right? And he has to speak to Hibino, and he's just like, I just want to apologize. He's like, say nothing, say absolutely nothing. And he's walking, and they walk him in front of all of his platoon, in front of all of Squad 3. And Squad 3 just stands there, and he's like, I can't even look them in the eye. Like, I can't imagine what they're feeling. And Ichikawa breaks rank, and it says, Senpai, I hope to see you soon. I have faith you'll be back. Right? And they shut the door on him. And Mina is like, yep, that motherfucker's doing 50 push-ups because he broke rank. And as they drive off, we see the vice captain tell everybody salute, and one of the heads of the kaiju force is like, why the fuck are you saluting? And he's like, we're saluting our superior officer Mina, captain, or whatever fuck rank he is. And he's like, yeah, that's good. He's like, yeah, there's no reason why you salute a fucking kaiju, you fucking bitch. And we head off to basically an internal conversation that Mina has with Kafka. And Kafka just flat out says, like, Mina, is there any way that I could stand with you? And Mina looks at him and is like, we're building a case. He's like, we're following protocols, but we're building a case to try and help you out. We want to show them that you are human, and that's the goal. And I was like, so the short answer in essence is, yeah, maybe one day you could still stand by me, and I'll be waiting for you. And she's got a smile on her face. Like, it's a nice touching moment. And we see Kafka just begin to bawl crying because he's had this moment, not with his superior officer, but with his former childhood best friend, who he cares about very deeply, and vice versa, as we come to find out. Mina's not heartless. Mina doesn't simply ignore his existence. She knows exactly who he is and what their child's life has like represented, like their children's life rather has represented. And I should say childhood. I keep saying like childhood, what their childhood lives have represented. And hopefully we get a good answer from that. But nonetheless, they bring him back into headquarters, and he's reshackled again. From there, basically we see everybody try to call in favors. We see what's his face? The blue-haired fuck. What's his name?
He tries to call in for help from his like family. The former JSDF member calls in favors from his commanding officer.
Yeah, Aoi and Izumo in particular. They're the two. Yep, they call in favors, trying to like do what they can to try and get Kafka like not killed. And then we finally see Shinomiya, and Kikoru goes up to her father and was like, I believe in Kafka. Please don't kill Kafka. And her father is like, he's a fucking kaiju, the same kaiju that killed your mom, in essence. It's a kaiju, right? And she's like, yeah, but I believe in him. Like, no matter what, like, he still saved me. And the father's like, you just want to talk about your failures, don't you? Get the fuck out of my sight. He's like, wait, before you get the fuck out of my sight, though, look at this. And hands her a sealed envelope. And she opens the envelope, and it's a picture of Kafka's heart. But it's not exactly a heart. His heart has become a core. It's a kaiju heart. It's a core. And he's like, that's no fucking human. That's a fucking kaiju. And so the whole goal that Kafka, again, has in mind is, stay human, no matter what, stay human. Show them you're human, right? And so we see the commander Shinomiya, basically he stands before Kafka, and he puts his fucking suit, like his suit on, and we get the backstory to like his suit. In particular, it's the entire suit and a pair of gauntlets, right? And the gauntlets have the branding 002, and they talk about how in the year 1972, this kaiju number 2, almost destroyed an entire major city in Tokyo. I forget which one it was. It wasn't Tokyo. I think it was Kyoto or Hiroshima, something like that. Almost destroys the entire fucking city if it wasn't for them taking it down. So this guy is OP as fuck. And basically he's trying to kill Kafka. That's the goal. He's like terminating kaiju number 8. He's trying to kill Kafka. Kafka's playing defense, right? He's playing defense. And even though he wants to stay human, even if it almost costs him his life, he wants to stay human. But his inner kaiju is like, no. And it's defending on its own with kaiju powers. He got transforms the kaiju legs, then kaiju arms. He gets his whole arm ripped off. he fucking regenerates that shit, right? And the whole time, Shinomiya is like, if you're human, humans don't do that shit. Humans can't jump up in the air and stay suspended. They don't regenerate lost limbs. Like, you're not human. You're a fucking kaiju. And eventually, when he's on death's door, he fucking transforms. And he loses all ability to reason. He is gone. This is like Attack on Titan level fucking transformation, where they go berserk and they're no longer like of human mind and understanding. He's lost all control and he's trying to get the control back. You see him inside the kaiju and he's like trying to get his control back. And we see the kaiju from episode 1 that fucking snuck up in his mouth, right? And all the kaiju saying is kill, 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 must kill. And we see Kikoro. Kikoro has been there the entire time, freaking out that her friend is about to die, and then gets happy when he stands up for himself. But then notices, yeah, there's something not right because the kaiju never ever have you seen Kafka's kaiju react and sound the way it did, and it goes on the offensive to end the episode. And Shinomiya, his response to that is like, "Oh, so you finally realize who you really are, kaiju." And the kaiju is just about to fucking tear this fucking guy limb from limb as the episode ends.
It's so good.
It's fucking amazing, dude.
Matt finally picked it up.
And Matt finally, yes, Matt has picked it up. Matt is about halfway through the show, and Matt's response to us, ladies and gentlemen, is, "Damn, I hate that kaiju is gonna bump something off my list that I really enjoyed."
Good.
Damn right.
It's not a completed list without kaiju number 8.
It's not a complete list without kaiju number 8. How dare you? How dare you ever have a list if it doesn't have kaiju 8 on that bitch? Have you done your awards yet, Chris?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done.
How many awards has kaiju won? Just the number. Don't have to tell me what awards there are.
It's not a lot compared to like the thing that's going to win most of my awards.
I've won. It's going so many of my awards.
2, possibly. It's like, depending on how the next episode goes, it's going to either be 2 or 4.
Okay. Yeah, I'm at 7. It's sweeping so far. It's incredible. But in any case, yeah, dude, it was absolutely phenomenal. I love how kaiju in particular will always give you like they always know the exact spot to cut the episode. The cliffhangers in kaiju are really well done. It's literally like getting blue balls. The people would complain about that as like a negative, like, oh, you're getting blue balls. You want to see what happens. And some people Starman has loved kaiju since the episode 1. He's been talking about it even before. Like when we were in winter, he was talking about how amazing it was going to be. So he watches it week to week. But knowing how Starman loves to binge certain anime, I can agree with the people that are going to sit there and binge this shit. That this is well deserving of a bingeable like series. That you get the absolute most, and you are on the edge of your seat from the time you start the binge to the time that binge finishes. So they do that job really well. And it's just incredible. Like I said, that episode was absolutely incredible. And just seeing how like this ultimate fucking kaiju, this Dai kaiju, right? A 9.8 fucking magnitude kaiju is gonna fucking go against who they do say in the episode is the strongest kaiju hunter to ever live, basically. Yeah. So it's pretty fucking wicked. And last but not least for our penultimates, Chris, Jobless Reincarnation, Mushoku Tensei.
Yep.
This was a good episode. Basically, Rudy is still depressed, clearly, right? He's still depressed. He doesn't know how to.
It's been a week. It's been a week since Father's Day, and Zenith being mentally handicapped.
Yep, she's become a mental vegetable.
What they didn't show right in the beginning of the episode before the scene, the group besides Rudy have a discussion about Rudy and Rudy's mental state, because he hasn't eaten, he hasn't drank, he doesn't get out of his room.
Yep, he's barely bathed, and you see it in the episode. He looks super disheveled. He's lost a bunch of weight. He looks bad.
They're trying to discuss how are we going to get him out of this? How are we going to do it? Immediately, everyone looks to Ellie and be like, "Hey, you should fuck him." What? No, I can't fuck him. This dude is married to my granddaughter. Revealing to Roxy, who didn't know previously that he was married, due to her flirting with him the entire time. They were traveling in the dungeons, and she gets very upset about it.
Yep.
And the only reason why I know it is because my friend who talks nonstop about this, comparing like stuff they didn't show in the light novels and this, shared the pages. I was able to read it. But going into the beginning of the episode, Roxy comes in to check on him.
Yep, she does.
And like not even 2 minutes in, she's fucking him.
Yep, basically, she tries to like cheer Rudy up. Rudy yells at her and just like, you don't understand, but she tries her best to try and be there. And when you think about it, it's kind of gross because Rudy's disheveled. He's still wearing the same fucked up clothes that he wore when everything went down. And
his arm's still missing.
His arm's still missing, and he probably stinks like all hell. But to Chris's point, basically, she locks the door. She sits on his bed. They talk. They get into the argument. And basically, Roxy's like, all right, if no one's going to help him, I'm going to help him. And the best way to help pervert Rudy is by giving him pervert love. And by pervert love, they fuck. Roxy fucks Rudy. Literally, she's like, don't worry about anything. I'm going to do it all. And she fucks Rudy. And they wake up the next morning, and Rudy's like, what the fuck? What is going on? And of course, Roxy's embarrassed. She wakes up naked in his bed. Like, she's like, you feel better? You got to come. You feel better? She didn't literally say that, but that's what, in effect, what it was. And she's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I guess. And he gets out of the room. He goes visit his mom. His mom's in no better shape. And he apologizes.
Ellie saw the two of them coming out of the same bed in the morning. He's like, okay, we need to talk.
Yes. Girl talk now. Basically, yeah. Girl talk now. And so, what's it called? And so after that happens, basically he goes to visit his mom. He apologizes to Lilith, saying, like, I'm sorry I haven't been here to help, And Lilith's like, can I just be honest with you? Talk freely. And she's like, yeah, go ahead. And basically is like, my job is to take care of her, right? That's going to be my job, is to take care of her. I think Paul would tell you the same thing. You need to take care of your own life, your own devices. You need to like get your shit together, basically, right? And this is what it is. That it's not going to change. So let me do my job. You do your job. And that helps Rudy. And eventually they set back out for home, right? And they're on their way home. And there comes a point where basically they're camping for the night. And Roxy talks about her feelings to Rudy. And Roxy's just like, hey, I love you. Like, it's fine though. Like, and Rudy is honest. Rudy tells her, like, hey, I got a daughter on the way, or I got a child on the way. I'm married. And she's like, that's fine. She's like, just, I needed that moment. You needed that moment. And it is what it is. But Roxy's kind of like, she's basically set on this being an unrequited love. She's like, I got my moment with him. I told him I love him. I confessed. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't need anything else. I'm hurt, but it sucks. It is what it is. So they continue on. And Rudy, again, and throughout the entire conversation, Rudy doesn't know how to like handle it because he wants to like hold her because he likes her, but he's just conflicted on what to do because he wants to stay faithful to Sylphie, even though he's already not because he fucked her. Right. So, and that's what the thing that Roxy said in particular. She's like, no, you didn't. You were still faithful. I took advantage of you on a weak moment. And that's what we're going to tell people if they ever ask or they ever find out. I took advantage of you during a weak moment. You didn't do anything. I did everything. You just laid there and you took it because you were weak. Okay, no problem. So they end up back in the snowy forest. They're back in town through all the portals, and Rudy had them blindfolded so they didn't see how and where they're at and all these things and where the locations are, things of that nature. No idea. And they're heading back into town. And again, remember from earlier in the season, it's about a week's travel, right, to get to that portal to the town. So they're about a week away now. And Ellie talks to Rudy and is very upfront, like, hey, I think you should marry Roxy. And he's like, huh? What? I should do what? And he's like, yeah, she loves you, and it's not fair to her. I want Roxy to be happy, and she would be happy with you. And she's like, well, what about Sylphie? And she was like, well, you'll have to talk to Sylphie, but I think this is what's best. You should marry her. So she's like, you want me to talk? You want to talk to her? Let's talk to her. And she brings her out of the tent, and they have a conversation. And Rudy is stumbling. Rudy has no idea how to broach this subject whatsoever. He's dancing around it. Roxy's like, yeah, and everything Rudy's saying, she's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so what? Is this all you had to talk to me about? And then basically Rudy's like, all right, fuck it. I'm just gonna say it out loud. Roxy, I love you. How would you like to be Roxy Grey Rat? And she's like, huh? And she's like, yeah, Roxy Grey Rat. And Roxy realizes, like, oh shit, I just got proposed to. And then she's like, well, wait, don't you have to talk to Sylphie? And he's like, yeah, I'll talk to her and we'll go from there. And she's like, all right, I'll tell you what, you talk to Sylphie first, you get her to agree, and then you ask me that question again once you have your answer from Sylphie. Okay. And more or less, that's how the episode basically ends.
Yep.
Is Rudy's proposal. So, pretty solid.
Good episode.
I was hoping we'd see a little bit more of the sex.
They're not going to show it.
I know, still. Boo. It's funny. I was on Twitter, and I follow a lot of hentai pages on Twitter. And one of the hentais, right, it showed Roxy and Rudy fucking, and the caption said, Rudy this morning, ha 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 ha. And it's just fucking balls deep in this bitch. So I sent it to Matt, and I was like, oh, this is what they're saying on Twitter. And he's like, he'd already seen the episode, and he's like, yep, it happened. So that was funny. All right. So that's it for the penultimates and other episodes. At this stage, we've got some finales to talk about. We have approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 finales, I think.
Let's see.
We got 7. We got Tsukimichi, Unnamed, Vampire, Duke, Jellyfish, VA Radio, and Disappearances.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
All right, cool. Let's start with the one that we both think sucked. That is Vampire Dormitory.
The show doesn't need a season 2. Let it die.
I fucking concur. Literally, they set it up perfect for a season 2, except this is a show that nobody wants to see a season 2 of. No fucking point. Basically, the episode starts off, it's wedding day, and, Mito's happy that she gets to marry Ren, and Ruka comes in, and Ruka's like, yeah, wish you a bunch of happiness. Here's your wedding gift. It's the love locket that I gave you, the love charm, like the neck charm, the neck tie, whatever, the neck choker. There we go. The neck choker. And it turns red when it shows somebody's love, and he holds it, uses his vampire powers, gives it to her. It's blood red. It is pure red. And she's like, I love you. I wish you all the happiness in the world with Ren. Okay. And he fucks off. And Mito starts crying. She's like, I don't understand. Why the fuck am I crying? What is going on? I don't understand this at all. And so then we fast forward to the altar scene. There, everybody's getting married. Ren says, I do. The question is posed to Mito. Mito is like, she can't get the words out. She's hesitating. Everybody in the church is consulting, oh my god, she's gonna reject him at the altar. That's so fucked up. Da, 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 da. And then Ruka comes in. Ruka says, nope. Even though you didn't ask if anybody objects, I object. And then we get Ren's father. And Ren's father is pissed off and is gonna basically use his Dampier powers to force Mito into the agreement, into the marriage. And Ren stops his father and says, nope, we're not gonna do it this way. And then all of a sudden, when that happens, we see Komori. And Komori is like, well, your plot's been ruined. Ruka found his true love. You tried to trick your son and trick everybody here with this bullshit. And he shows up with Miko, and Miko turns directly into the cat again. And everyone's like, oh my god, I didn't know this. And basically, there's a lot of back and forth with Ren's father, the Dampier, and fucking Komori, and all this bullshit that nobody gives a fuck about. And basically, The curse is broken because Ren wishes for the curse to be broken, and so Mito turns into a girl. No wig, tits. She's
Tits
got them
out.
all back. Yep, she's got it back. She's now a full grown woman, and basically her and Ruka get to live a happy life. They return back to the dorm, and they share a nice moment together. We find out the next morning, no, they didn't have sex. No, they're not planning to have sex until like they get married. Boo.
I don't believe it.
I don't either. It was pretty passionate. They had a passionate makeout session in the bed when they got back. It was basically their what the fuck is the word?
Consummating the
Honeymoon.
wedding.
Yeah, it was like a honeymoon, consummating the wedding. I don't believe it. They're like, nope, we didn't do anything. We're not gonna do anything until we get married. Okay, well, Komori is like, hey, I gotta prepare for your wedding now, your real wedding with Ruka. So, don't be late to your own wedding, motherfuckers. And he fucks off, right? And then what annoyed me, the first thing that annoyed me, not the first thing, but one of the things that really annoyed me is now that the secret's out, Mito still wants to go to school with Ruka and team, right? And so even though the secret's out that she's a girl, right, and she's got boobs and everything, she still keeps up the facade of being a boy.
Ruka and Ren are the only ones who know it. Everyone else is still clueless for some fucking reason.
It's so dumb. So damn dumb. And so then we basically get a final scene with Takara and Jury. And basically they, Takara wants to talk about, the things that happen. He's like, I haven't given you a proper answer. And Jury's like, listen, like, I don't mind you being happy with a girl. I just want you to continue to be my friend the way that you've been my friend all along. And I just want your happiness, even if it's not with me. I told you how I felt, so that's good enough. And Takara's still on the fence. Takara's still bi-curious right now. He's like, I don't know. Maybe I want to put it in his ass. I don't know. TBD on that standpoint. And so then we get basically the end of the episode, and then after credit, it sets up the season 2. There's a new transfer student, long white-haired man. I don't remember his name. I don't really give a fuck because I was checked out by this point. So, and it sets up season 2 of Vampire Dormitory, and I'm not looking forward to it whatsoever. I thought this show was my biggest disappointment that I actually did manage to complete. I gave it 2.75 stars. And I don't normally rate things on a 2-star scale. It was a 2.75 for me.
I'm giving it a 2. The show sucked.
It sucked. It did.
Man, if you really want the one thing you should do if you want to like be the leader of your entire clan family thing is to make sure that the person who can break the seal, who is in line to take over, not get in contact with his destined partner or whatever the fuck it's called, whatever the fuck they're gonna call him.
Yeah, destined partner.
Possibly break everything.
Sorry, texting my girlfriend. Anyway, I agree. It's bullshit. Like the plot is just so like dumb in terms
if they
of
wanted to like do that scene where he breaks her out of the spell. There's other ways to do it, like having him rush the altar without being like it was stupid enough that he is like, oh yeah, sure, he can work close to Mito. There's not going to be any negative repercussions to my plan at all.
Not at all. And it's like, bro, really? Like, it's so dumb. And then on top of that, another thing that I skipped over that pissed me off is Ren, already heartbroken, right? He's on his motorcycle and he's driving off and he's like, he's like, I wish you and Ruka a bunch of happiness. And he kisses Mito and Mito does nothing about it. You're now officially with Ruka. You love Ruka. You dumped this man 3 different times throughout the series. He's still he's still a simp for your ass, still kisses you, and you do nothing, and your heart is still doki doki when Ren kisses you. Why? It makes no sense at all. It's dumb. I'm giving it. I've lowered my rating now, 2.5. No longer 2.75. It's 2.5.
Mine's still at 2.
It's a 2.5 for me. It can't go to a 3. I can't. And it was just like, it had promise. The gender bender thing isn't a bad thing if done right. This wasn't done right at all. It would have made more sense if this was like anti yaoi, where you have gay people that turn straight for the girl. Because that happens. Not very often, but it happens in real life where gay people go straight or go back to being bi, I guess. So something like that. That would have made more sense. Would have all right, but no, this shit sucked. I'm glad it's over. I don't know. I'm talking shit about it. I really don't want to see a season 2, but I feel like if the season 2 is announced and it's like there, depending on what my list looks like, I may fucking watch it just for complete, because I'm a completionist. But nonetheless, that was ass. All right.
Yep.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
All right. Fuck the show. Moving on. We'll go with Unnamed Memory next. Unnamed Memory. Unnamed Memory
Finale.
It was a good finale. So basically, the show picks up with Oscar helping Tinashe move out of the tower, and as he's moving her stuff, he notices the glass ball with all the runes on it, and he touches the ball, and he's like, "Where have I seen this before?" And the ball lights up, and magic is happening, and Tinashe tries to save Oscar and can't, and Oscar is transported away, to the same location, in essence, the tower, but in the past. How far in the past, Chris?
400 years.
400 years in the past, specifically. He is back to when Tudor still existed. He transfers back to when Tinashe was 13 years old, and we find out as we go along the timeline, he transfers about 6 months prior to the stabbing with Lanok, right? And so he's like, "Hey, I'm your husband in 400 years, and I need to get back to that timeline. So help me figure it out." Like, well, time travel is not possible. Well, I'm telling you it is, because I just got here from time travel. So let's figure it out together, honey. And so they basically talk, but it's a good episode from the standpoint that we get to see baby Tinashe, and baby Tinashe is very mature for her age. Again, she's 13 years old. She's still wise. She's still got all of her powers. She's still brilliant. And we get to see the actual like infatuation that she has with Lanok as well, which as we come to find out, is not a good thing. But basically they get closer over time, and Oscar's even there for her, because there are points in the episode where Tinashe breaks down because of the loneliness and because of everything that she has going on in her life, the pressures of being the queen of Tudor, things that are the prospective queen of Tudor, and things of that nature. And basically, Tinashe kind of manipulates Lanok to be able to get into the treasury, and she booby traps the treasury, so there's no magical implements. And we basically see Oscar get into the treasury that night, saying goodbye to Tinashe and all that. And he touches the stone, and the stone triggers again. And we think, okay, he's back to what's it called? To his present time. And so then we basically see Lanok come after a little bit after Oscar has left. And I don't know whether it's like it got moved up to that night, or you're on mute. Oh, I guess you're on the phone. All right, anyway. We don't know whether it's that night or not, but we basically fast forward to the stabbing scene, and as things are about to go down from the stabbing scene, we see Oscar save the day. And Oscar, instead of traveling back home 400 years, he's traveled back the 6 months ahead to save Tinashe, save Tudor, and together they are able to easily defeat Lanok. They're able to withstand like Lanok, because Lanok, instead of using Tinashe as the galvanization of the magic, he uses himself, and he dies. He basically commits suicide to release the magic, and Tinashe is able to rein in the magic and save Tudor. And so now history has forever changed, because now Tudor doesn't get blown away off the map, and they're good.
Fuck that guy. Hate him.
Yeah, Lanok was shit. I agree. But as we come to find out, Oscar finds out that from the moment that you use that rune and you go back in time to whatever period you go back in time to, you've already changed history, because you don't belong in that timeline. So everything in your timeline that you knew is already erased. It's gone. It's done. So rather than go back to a time that doesn't technically exist anymore, he decides to sacrifice himself to save Tinashe, save her country, let her be queen, let her enjoy her life at the cost of his existence. Basically, after he saved her, she's going to disappear. And he does. It's a very tearful, sad finale between them. And Tinashe closes her eyes.
It's
And
fine.
next time
It's
she
fine. He
cries,
was only 13 at that time.
only 13. And he kissed the 13-year-old girl. How old is Oscar? Like 20 something, 30?
Probably.
And he kissed the 13-year-old girl before he departed.
It's payback. It's payback because she kissed him when she was like 400 in something.
At least they're both legal. I mean, we don't know what legality is in those times, but nonetheless, the optics are bad. 30 to 400 or 30 to 13. Optics are bad. But in any case, Oscar disappears and Tinashe lives her life. She lives the 400 years. She becomes queen of Tudor. Tudor never goes away. She's all powerful, but she continuously thinks of Oscar. And that's basically where the episode ends, with the announcement, as I said earlier in the episode, that we're going to get an Act 2, Unnamed Memory Act 2. And I imagine this is going to be her quest to try and get Oscar back into whatever timeline. So I'm not a huge proponent of it. I thought if it would have ended right here, it would have been completely fine. Like, no problem. Like, it's just a tragic end, you know? And that would have been totally fine with me. And I probably would have graded it a little bit higher. But as a whole, I thought the season was really solid. It kind of died down. I was really hyped. Through like 6 episodes, I was so hyped with the show. And then like over the course of the last 6, it kind of died down a little bit. And it went from being super amazing to just being like solid. So for me, I give it a 3.75.
I was the opposite. I thought the like first 6 episodes were slow, but as soon as we started getting more into Tinashe's backstory and fighting the killing the dickhead, my like interest peaked, started to raise. But I gave this over 3.5.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, to me, it felt kind of rushed because it was like, all right, after they do everything, they're like, all right, let's have our moment and we kiss. Okay. And then they fuck. Okay, great. And then like now they're like boyfriend and girlfriend, mistress, whatever the fuck. Let's get married. Okay. Like everything just happened like so rapidly for me. I didn't like, even though the whole overall plot was Oscar trying to get Tinashe to marry him, the way that it happened felt very abrupt. And all the episodes like throughout this period to me, they felt very like abrupt. And I wasn't a big fan of the.
What would you prefer? What would you prefer? Them to like rush it or for them to drag it on?
If you're going to give a season 2, you could drag it on a little bit. To me, it felt like it felt a little rushed.
The season 2 isn't going to be about like this past universe. So you would say the unnamed memory of what could have been or what was, but now it's going to be like this new timeline where Toldar is still thriving, but now we're going to have Farnus. What? Oscar's land.
Farsas, yeah. Farsas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm curious
we're
because
see like a reverse of like what we have been seeing, where Oscar was chasing Tinashe, now we're gonna have Tinashe chasing Oscar.
But it's curious because now that the timelines change, right? Tinashe wasn't alone in the tower all those years. So then, in theory, Tinashe doesn't meet Oscar's grandfather and doesn't become like a little smitten for Oscar's grandfather. Where does Oscar's grandfather fit into play? Where does the timeline fit? Where does the witch
She's
that
probably
curse?
When she probably hears that the kingdom that Oscar came from is like standing, she's probably gonna go there and meet Oscar's grandfather, and then like wait it out until Oscar is like born, and probably create her tower just to have like, or well, no, the tower's already there. The tower was where where Toldar was, right?
Yeah. It's on the
okay.
outskirts of Tudor is where she built the tower. So I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
They can do it right, or they can fuck it all up.
I think if they would have ended it as a tragedy, not many anime nowadays, and just flat end in tragedy. So I wouldn't have minded that, and I think I would have graded. I think I probably would have given it a 4 if I knew like that was it. I was struggling to give it a 4. I really wanted to give it a 4, but I was like, I can't. It's not a 4 material for me. So I gave it a 3.75. It's a 3 on my analyst, but realistically, I think I give it a 3.75 out of 4, or out of 5 rather. And I'm still looking forward to season 2. I'm still definitely gonna watch it and see, but I don't know. The jury's out for me on that one. All right, cool. Moving on. Let's go with Mysterious Disappearances next. Pretty that this one was another sad conclusion until they tried to make it happy at the end. Basically the episode starts off with Danchi-sama Ogawa still trying to contact Arashino. Can't get in contact with him. Can't get in contact with him. Can't get in contact with him. Still constipated. And so then basically we see Oto. The episode focuses mostly on Oto and Oto saying goodbye. She stays the night at Utame Sensei's house and wakes up, has a giant bowl of ramen for her final meal. In essence, it's really, really good. And she basically gives Utame her phone and says, "I need you to record a video for me." And she records the video, says her final goodbyes, and then a very tearful and emotional goodbye for Oto and Utame, and she goes off. And we get a final appearance from the cat lady wanting to kill Arashino, and Arashino's like, "Fuck off! You're never gonna see me again after today. So you're good. Go live your life. Be a fucking crazy cat lady. I'm good. You're good. We'll move on." Okay. And so then that happens, but that happens after Arashino meets the old man and has a conversation with the old man about like what's to come and things of that nature. And then we finally get the revelation of what he and Oto talked about. He basically said, like, yeah, we're going to our hometown tomorrow evening, and you're going to go on the first train. I'm going to go on the second train. And Oto's smart, and she puts 2 and 2 together and was like, you're not coming really with me, are you? And he's like, no, I am. And then throughout that period, and then them walking up to the platform, as well as the revelation from the old man, as the old man actually does speak to Ogawa as well, that we get Arashino's backstory. And this is actually how the real beginning of the episode starts off. It starts off with like a flashback to when Oto first dies in her homeland, and she's basically cremated, and she's cremated with a particular book, and that book comes into play at the end of the show. But she's cremated with a book, and then Arashino dies of starvation and exhaustion, but through whatever circumstance. Yeah, kind of, sort of, right? I have that. I bought that movie on. I bought that movie on Blu-ray from Sentai Filmworks during their Black Friday sale for $7. I have yet to watch it. I just know it's really depressing. It has to do with World War II, and it makes everybody cry, and it's not a happy ending. But I have yet to watch Grave of the Fireflies. But in any case, we're going off topic. So basically, she calls out Ren Ni, and when she does that to basically bring her original brother back, she creates Ren as a curiosity, and this is what allows Ren to turn himself into a curiosity. So we get to the platform, they talk about this whole backstory, about this whole plot, and basically, Arashino is like, I still hope to see you again. I think I'm going to see you again. And as Oto goes into the train closes, the train sets off, Arashino's existence basically just fades away with the train. No more Arashino. Oto's gone. That's it. Right. And so then we get Ogawa. She's still depressed. And she goes and she's woken up one morning after a drunk night, reminiscing about everything. And she's pissed off again. She's pissed off. Arashino lied to her, saying, like, I'll be the first one to read your novel. Never did before he left. And so then we get Utame waking up Ogawa. And she's like, I've got urgent business. Here's a phone. Ogawa sees the phone and says, oh, this is Oto's phone. And she's like, yeah, there's a message on it. I want you to look at the message. And it's a long video. And it's a very emotional video from Oto. Oto basically says all of her thank yous. She's like, I'm sorry for not seeing you one more time before I left. I know it's insensitive of me. And what's it called? And she basically thanks her for everything that she did, all the times that we went to the bathhouse, that you cooked for me, that you fed me, the good times that we had, taking care of my plant. Like, thank you so much. And it's, again, a really heartfelt goodbye. By the end of the video, she's just absolutely just uncontrollably sobbing. And then we see Ogawa. She's crying too at like how much, she ended up really impacting Oto's life prior to her leaving. And that was really nice. And so then that evening, she just takes a stroll around, and she happens to see the hole in the fence, not the hole in the wall, hole in the fence. And so she crawls through the hole in the fence, and she knows where this hole in the fence is going to lead her. Except this time, their bookstore is standing, whereas last time there was no bookstore. The bookstore is now standing. She walks into the bookstore. She greets the spirit, the book spirit, like old friends. They know each other's name, and basically she hands the book spirit her book and says, I give you this offering of my book that I wrote. And she's like, thank you so much. I haven't had a new book in forever. Browse the shelves while I read your book. So she does, and she reads like a love story. And one of the original love stories that she read from earlier in the season when she picked it up, and she reads the words out loud. I don't remember exactly what those words are, but they're basically talking about love. And the bookkeeper calls her over and is just like, your story's incomplete. And you mentioned Adashino, but Adashino, he's kind of here but not. And then she's like, okay, well, I can rewrite it. That's fine. And she's like, no. Don't rewrite it. The whole reason why you wrote this is because this is how it is. However, my interpretation after reading so many books is that Adashino has left you and left this world with regret. So he still has a tie to stay in the world. And he's like, it's up to you to keep that tie going, keep that regret going. So if you hope to see him again, that's what you'll use. And I don't know. I don't remember what happened. Was there like some sort of like spirit awakening or something in the thing? I don't know. But something happens in the bookstore and it leads Ogawa down the bookshelves to the empty desk and chair with the light that she would use so many times earlier in the season with her flashback. And we basically see the spirit of Adashino chilling above that desk. And she calls out to Adashino and says, I learned I need you. I can't be myself without you. I can't write without you. I can't live without you. I need you, Adashino. And the manifestation of Adashino pops up and Adashino lives. And that's how the episode and the season ends. There is an after credit though. They shows them back in the bookstore. They're working like normal. And, the bookkeeper is happy to see them, like the manager. And the manager's like, hey, there was another reverse shoplifting. They gave us this book. Ogawa, you can have this book. Ogawa looks at the book and says, here, Adashino, you can have the book. Adashino opens the book and you see the cover. The cover is the same book that the original Oto, when she was a child in her land, when she died, was buried and cremated with. And she opens the book and Adashino says there's writing in it. And the writing in the book says, I'm happy. And that's how the series ends. With that, and then you see Ogawa's book on their bookshelves called Mysterious Disappearances, a story about like journeys and parting or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Really solid
Really
ending. Good. Yeah, good ending. It's a solid series. It's not the absolute best series, but it wasn't worse. The ecchi was fun, although sometimes it's a little bit cringe considering the girls are middle school girls, but dispelling that fact, still solid.
Were they middle school? I thought they were high school.
No, middle school.
Oh.
They were middle school girls. Yep. I don't know what to give this. I'm stuck between 3.5 and 3.75.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5 because there wasn't really enough. Like, if the series were to continue, then the rating would go more. Go higher. Like.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, I think I'll give it a 3.5. It's a 3.5. Yeah. So anyway, all right, cool. Not bad though. Not a bad series. Happy I saw it. No regrets with that. All right, moving on. What do we got next? I don't know. We got this one. Hold on. This one we did. This one we did. This one we did. We got Jellyfish. Duke is our main. Tsukimichi and voice actor radio. Let's go with voice actor radio next. Voice actor radio was super, like, oh my god. So basically the episode starts off with the retake scene, and before we get to the retake scene, we have Chika basically telling what's her face? Damn, I forgot her name now. Yukine? Fuck. What is it? Bitch.
Which
Yumiko.
one?
Yumiko. Here we go. Sato. Yumiko. telling Yumiko all the things that are wrong with her acting. And long story short, the message that she's trying to tell Yumiko is like, you have your foot on the brake because you're so conscious of everybody. You're so conscious of your failures. Don't be conscious. Just let it rip. Let it rip. And if it's bad, you'll change it again. But just don't limit yourself. Don't put yourself with a limiter. Just let it rip. And fucking hell, she lets it rip. Her scenes come up and she bodies them. And the amazing thing, the absolutely amazing thing about these scenes is that there's no music. This is literally a exact representation of what it would look like if you were standing inside of the recording booth watching voice actors record their lines as they stare at the raw cuts and drawings and designs from the anime that they're portraying as they read their lines. And Yumiko, with such fervent passion, is reading her lines and killing it. And the fact there's no music is amazing. All of the voice actors at various points, and basically it is Chika and then the two veteran female actresses, right, that are there. And they're like, well, I think it would help you if we were here. So we just have to suck it up for the team and do your best, bitch. But they all look at them, all look at Yumiko, just absolutely dumbfounded at how incredible she's just killing these lines. And she's worked up a sweat. She's out of breath. Like, she talk about putting your heart and soul into a performance. She put her heart and her fucking soul into those lines. And she's breathing heavy. She's sweating. And she's like, "Are we good?" And even the sound director was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't say anything sooner. Yeah, we're good, no problem." And then the one girl, who's got the dark hair, who's the veteran voice actress, she's like, "Wow, you really are sweating." And basically wipes her face down. She takes her little handkerchief and wipes her face down for everything. And everyone is just fucking blown away by it. And before this, the final speech that Yumiko got was from the sound director. And the sound director is like, we had many people audition for this. A lot of them gave us almost perfect performances. We looked at you no better than a 6 out of 10. You know why we chose you? And Yumiko says, because you thought I can get you 100? I can get you a perfect score eventually? And she goes, no, because eventually I feel you get us a 12 out of 10, 120%, not 100%, 120%. And she fucking delivered. And it was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal what was done. And one of the other girls, like the other senior one, the one that was constantly yelling at her throughout the season, she's like, "How old are you? And how many years have you been doing this?" And she's like, "I'm 17. I've been doing it for 3 years." And she's like, "This is why I hate fucking young kids. Because, before you know it, they just blow up before your eyes and there's nothing you could do. Oh, here's another star. Boom." And she's like, "Good fucking work." And she leaves, basically. And all the girls leave. Chika is flustered, but she's like, "Good work." And she fucks off, right? And then we get our final, like, praises from the sound director. And Yumiko traces up over to Chika and was like, "I thought I did well. What do you think?" And she's just getting the silent treatment. And she's trying to get her to, like, get an opinion. She's like, "I can't rate myself. Rate me. How do you think I did?" And she's like, "I hate that about you. Ugh." And she just storms off, basically. And then basically the rest of the episode is them, like, talking nice about each other with the voice acting radio. It kind of basically comes full circle in essence. And I felt like all that part is relatively inconsequential, in my opinion. It was very comical where they have to say nice things about each other, but the real true piece of that episode was her just absolutely killing the lines. And before we moved on to the second part of the episode, Yumiko talks in third person about the future for the first time. And she says, at the time that we did the recording, we didn't know. By the time it aired, the anime community was blown away with how incredible those lines were done. But little did we know that at the time that we recorded it. It was awesome. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
That was fucking great. The series as a whole, I wrote a good bit about the series. And, the best thing that I could tell people about voice actor radio is that it keeps the recent trend of exposing Japanese entertainment, the good and the bad, the positive and the negative, the ugly and the pretty. Like, it does a good job of that. And it's got its positive features, such as the beautiful, the beautiful art styles and the crisp animation. Of course, the soundtrack is going to be good because voice actors double up as idols in essence, and any idol anime is probably going to have good fucking musical composition. So it's got its points. It's just a little bit up and down. It's like when when it hits low points, I think it's just awful. But then when it hits high points, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And it's like you'll get one episode to me that's like a 2, and then you'll get another one that's like a 5. And you'll get like a 3, and then a 4, and then a 5, and then like a 3, and then like a 2, and then another 5. Like it's, to me, a little inconsistent, but it doesn't take away from the overall show, the overall plot. I enjoyed it very much. I think another thing that disappointed me is that we had the hint of Yuri, and it's not a Yuri. There's no Yuri at all. So that sucks. But one piece I did skip over is basically Yumiko asked Chika about, you know, their friendship and things like that. And Chika's like, I can never see you as a friend, but I see you as my eternal rival, which is a compliment in essence in that world. So that was nice. I gave it a 3.75.
I'm giving it a 3.25. Mostly on the fact that like the final episode really bumped it up, but like my main issue with the show was like after the whole, I was expecting more of them being like actual like on the same level of voice acting when I first was getting into this show.
Mm-hmm.
So when it turns out that one is just someone who's like barely known, the other's actually competent, I thought, oh, okay, so we're just gonna have the rival where one's gonna try and do better and then get help from the one who's way better, and how everything played out. I was expecting them to be like more rivals in trying to like one up each other.
Yeah, it was very passive.
Yeah,
I didn't mind it, but I get your point. Yeah, I gave it a 3.75. I think because, like I said, the highs were really high, and then my lows were just knocked it down significantly enough to not make it a 4 anime. So okay, moving on. What do we got left? There's one more that we're missing. Oh, Tsukimichi. We'll move on to Tsukimichi next. Solid finale. Basically, a lot of partying and a lot of setup for what's to come. Basically, we see Sophia finally get killed by what's his face? What's that guy's? Luca. Yeah, we see her get killed by Luca pretty easily.
Or no, not Luca.
They list him as Root, but that's not his real name. Like,
well, yeah, that's not his real name.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why they call him Root. It doesn't make any sense.
Because he has 2 names. One's his dragon name, the other's his like human name.
Yeah,
or the name he goes by.
Yeah, they have his human name here listed as Root, and I'm like, that doesn't make no sense. Let me see if I can find it and I click on it. Give me a second. Where the fuck is this guy? No. I need the red hair fuck. Where's the red hair fuck? Yeah, here we go. Root. Or he's white hair, sorry. They don't even have anything. Just Root. That doesn't make no sense. I don't know. Anyway, so we see Sophia get killed by Root. We'll just call him Root for now until you find the name if you do. He gets killed by Root really easily. And basically, what he does is he takes all the dragon cores from all the dragons that she made pacts with or she killed and rebirths the dragons and is like, well, I don't have time right now to raise dragon children. So I'm just going to take her body and I'm going to take these dragon eggs that I've converted and we'll figure out what to do with them later. And he fucks off. Right. And he tells Makoto the same, like kind of the same thing in essence. They have a meeting after everything is all said and done. And Makoto's like, yeah, you owe me a favor, bro. Like, you know, like even then he tries to talk to him and you can tell he's bullshitting. And he's like, come on, man. He's like, even like, it's so like odd that I can tell that you're bullshitting me. He's like, figure it out. But for now, you owe me a favor. And he fucks off. Right. And then, like I said, a lot of it is just like celebratory things. We find out that nobody from the demiplane, that none of the warriors were killed. We find out that Mio, when she couldn't fucking actually defeat the guy, she just flat out ate him. And all that's left of the demon the commander is like, excuse me, is of a little snake. So that's cute. And again, a lot of it is just celebratory. They have a celebratory party, things of that nature. Like it's really solid. We find out that Shiki now has direct influence over what's her face? Where is her name? Hibiki. she has direct influence over Hibiki and what remains of her team. So now, in essence, while they're continuing their journey, they're keeping in mind instructions and things of that nature that Shiki is giving them. And they did mention that, they'll figure out what to do with the fact that Makoto actually does know Hibiki, but Hibiki doesn't realize this yet. So that'll come into play in season 3. We also see our other hero, Tomoki, and he's fucking pissed off that he got embarrassed and got his ass whooped. And he's basically going batshit crazy, and he's gonna end up being a fucking dark hero. You already know he's gonna be some dark hero that's gonna cause a bunch of problems. Meanwhile, we see Io and Rona at the remains of Fort Stella, and not anticipating the battle that happened. Rona basically tells Io, like, hey, time to regroup, retrain the groups for the next battle, and I'm gonna prep for what's next with Makoto. And he's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, I'm gonna send him an official invite to meet the Demon King, Mao. And so that'll come into season 3 as well. And then basically the episode ends with them partying, having a good time. And then the actual final piece of the episode is basically Makoto thanking. And he also said, let me phrase that also. He also, before I get to that final piece, he also settles his affairs in Rotsguard. He turns down the full-time teaching position. He ends up with the dude that the merchant, the head of the merchant agency, whatever. He's now basically indebted to Makoto and said, like, yeah, all the guys that were against you, they're all dead. And I am grateful for what you've done. So basically, you can set up shop again. You can set it up brand new, and you won't have anything to worry about. And by the way, the brothel you saved, you can use that at any time for free. And he's like, wait, I'm only half a man. That was funny. I was like, come on, this guy's a virgin. The pussy is like a virgin to pussy is nuts. That's one thing I don't like about Makoto. It's like, bro, he could fuck Mio, he could fuck Tomoe, and he could fuck all these bitches in the brothel, and just no, I don't want pussy. Ew. But he's not gay. Like something, bro. I think more of these characters just need to get laid. That would solve a lot of problems. A lot of problems would be solved if they all got laid. Like Tsukimichi, if he would have like fucked Draken's ex.
If he went the Rudy route, it would have been fine.
It would have been fine. Yeah, go Rudy. Don't go Rudy. Don't go full Rudy. Don't be full Rudy. Full Rudy's bad. Yeah. Partial Rudy, good. Do that. Be partial Rudy. But no, in any case, the episode and the season ends with Makoto having a heartfelt conversation with Shiki, Mio, and Tomoe, and saying, like, I appreciate all you've done for me. Like, without you guys, I could have done everything that we've all done together, but it would have been mediocre and not come out as well as what it is. He's like, I don't know how much of a thank you gift this is, but I want to bestow on the three of you my family's last name, Mitsumi. Mitsumi is, yeah, Mitsumi. So, and they all graciously accept and are honored and, promise to do good by the name. So now we officially get Tomoe Mitsumi, Shiki Mitsumi, and Mio Mitsumi. And together they all pledge to do well, and that's how the season ends. So I enjoyed, and we wait for season 3. I enjoyed this season. I enjoyed season 1. I enjoyed this season so much more than season 1. And like I said, I still enjoyed season 1. It was way better. Everything about this was great. The comedy was great. The battles were great. Makoto being OP is always great. Him fucking just being so ridiculously OP is just incredible. This is literally, like, to me, I akin this to Rimuru. Makoto is Rimuru if he had a permanent vendetta. And like, it's awesome. The battles were solid. If it wasn't for the kaiju battles, and it wasn't for the Demon Slayer battles, and it wasn't for the fucking Jobless Reincarnation battle, like, the battles would be fucking up there as well. I enjoyed this show very much. I gave it a 4.25.
I gave it a 4.
Give it a 4. Okay. No, but I tell people all the time, and I've been trumpeting this lately in the group. I'm like, isekais are a dime a dozen nowadays. But if you want a sleeper isekai where you get an OP character, you get solid plot, minimal fan service, good comedy, great action, fucking Tsukimichi, there for you. Underrated. Tsukimichi to me is very underrated. That's what I like to tell people. All right, moving on. Co-main event. Jellyfish can't swim in the night.
Good series. Good end.
Good series. Good end indeed. The episode starts off basically with the final confrontation between what's her face and Yukime. Let me find it. Where the fuck is the series? Damn, I watched it. When the fuck did I finish it? Jellyfish, 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 jellyfish. I don't see jellyfish. Where the fuck is jellyfish? I don't know. Damn, where the hell? Oh, here it is. Jellyfish. Okay, here we go. Too many animes.
Too many
Mahiru.
anime.
Too many animes. Mahiru. The final confrontation between Mahiru and Yukime. And Yukine, sorry. And basically, she kind of gives a good pitch, and even Yukine agrees. Like, the pitch that you gave me is good. You gave me good numbers. You gave me good, like, bona fide ideas. But what more is there to prove? And she continues the pitch, and eventually she agrees. And basically, the memo gets sent over to Kano, and Kano's shocked. She's like, "Wow, like I can't believe it." And meanwhile, what's her face? Kiwi is like, yeah, she probably negotiated that piece like for us, but what do you want to do? And Kano's like, I want to do it. I want to do it. And so they get everything prepped up, they get on their way, and Kano's nervous, and the girls realize that. And she's like, I'm a little nervous to see my hero. I'm a little nervous to see my mom, but I'm determined to sing. Right. And so then we get the prep. They see all the prep work going into the little show, whatever the case may be. We even get a little hint of what's to come with what's her face, Miliko and her daughter, and with what they have planned. And so we get to the night of the event, and we see Sundoll Girls. They do a fantastic performance. Everything is all well. Everything that Mahiru did for them pops up. It's really well done, really solid. And we see Mahiru basically with Yukine the whole time. And the girls are by themselves, Mei, Kiwi, and Kano. And Kano just basically starts to, I don't know if it's stage fright or whether it's just like severe crippling anxiety, but it hits her. She goes down the stage. She's super nervous. The MC is talking to her. She can't speak. She can't do anything. The music starts playing. The words don't come out. She's just absolutely lost. And there are two people that help her get through that moment where she can sing. The first person of all people, of absolutely all people that you wouldn't have expected to help is what's her face? Seto.
The head of the Sundolls, or the center.
Yeah, the new center. The one that she basically the what is it? I Idiot or something, or Wake Up Idiot, whatever the fuck her name is. Wake Up Idiot, yeah. Meru?
No, Look Idiot.
Yeah, something like that. Look Idiot. Whatever. Meru. Meru is the one that fucking basically prompts her, like, hey, idiot, the song's going, fucking sing. And then the second person after she gets that jolt of reality is Mahiru. And then finally she sings. The singing is great. And they say, like, look up. And specifically, they say, look up when they tell her that. Like, hey, the song's playing, look up. And when she looks up, you see everything is in blue. You see the jellyfish all over Shibuya because they're in Shibuya. And everything is going. She starts singing phenomenally. They get to one of the parts, and then everybody who's there pulls out blue umbrellas. And they've got the blue umbrellas that they wanted to do at that show that got canceled because of all the fan backlash because of the doxing. It was absolutely tremendous. Everything goes off without a hitch. It's gorgeous. And basically the moral is they accomplished their dream. Their dream was to turn Tokyo into a giant aquarium.
Shibuya.
They did Shibuya into a giant aquarium. They turned it into a giant aquarium with the blue umbrellas and the video imagery all over the fucking buildings. It's tremendous. Everybody's excited. Mahiru runs down from her position with Yukine. They end up in opposite. Basically, they're on an escalator. The escalator's going up and the escalator's going down. They cross paths. They can't get it. They have to go down, then go all the way up. And fucking Mahiru fucking tackles Kano. And they have a moment, and they have a nice moment together. Everything is well. The girls are all happy. They apologize for all the mean things. They apologize for leaving opposite ends. Everything is just absolutely flawless. And then one of the final pieces of the series is as they sit there on the ledge, as the credits are playing for everything, there is a credit for Mahiru and they have her as her real name, and then her other name, Yoru, and then another credit comes up for Jelly, and it's a single credit. You talk about the composer, you talk about the visuals, and there's one credit, and it is Kano's name, and it's not her former name. It not Nodoka. It is Kano, and Kano just automatically starts just bawling, crying. She's uncontrollably emotional that she's officially been recognized by her mom for the most part, like on the video board. And then we cut to a scene basically with Meru and Yukine, and Meru's like, "Oh, I didn't think you were the type to be emotional. Like, like I'm surprised you acknowledged your daughter like that." And Yukine is like, she's grown. She's past being Nodoka. She is her own woman. She is Kano. So she deserves to be recognized as Kano. And that was really sweet. And then the rest of the episode focuses on their graduation. Basically, Kano and Mahiru and Mei, they graduate college. What's it called?
Kiwi stays at home streaming.
Yep, she's a dropout. So she's like, fuck that. And they all graduate. And as Kano's walking out of her high school, she was at her graduation alone. She's walking out. Her mom is waiting with her little sister asleep in the car. And, she's smiling, happy and proud. And Kano just walks by her mom, keeps walking, and says, "I did it, Mom. I did it for you." Right? And her mom's like, my, have you grown? Basically, in essence, what a, grown woman you are. And so then all the girls meet up in front of the mural in Shibuya, and they spend the rest of the episode painting it. They repaint over, and they get the permission from whoever, like I guess they had it blocked off from being destroyed or whatever the case, but they get the permission. They all paint over it. It's silly scenes, but then there's also serious scenes as well in that scene where they talk about, time being fleeting and there's not enough time in the day. And they talk about the premise of there being actually 25 hours a day versus 24, and how they need all 25 hours to be together, spend time together, do things together, create more work of art and magic and music and things like that together. And then when it's all said and done, the series basically ends with the new mural. And it's a beautiful portrait that they all create, and they all have their names there. It's really, really, really well done. And then I think the episode truly finishes off with them like asleep, and they're like kind of falling asleep on the train, and Kano's looking at the numbers, and Kiwi's like, "Can we just skip the numbers for a day and just revel in this moment?" That's a good ass moment. And that's kind of basically where the series ends. But
yep,
gorgeous series. I absolutely love this series. This was all the ups and downs were incredible. The drama was incredible. Very gripping, enthralling. The lows were super like dark. So many things that could really be said about Jellyfish, but this is one of the better series of the season, bar none. Easily 4.5 for me.
Oh, my headset died.
Lovely. What do you think, Chris?
I enjoyed the series. Not as much as another music-based series that's going on this season, but like,
I'm very surprised you didn't talk about it in your solos, by the way.
What do you mean?
You didn't talk about Girls Band Cry, or is it over?
I forgot to. Whatever. I'll that can be talked about next time with Matt, where we do the last 2 episodes.
That is true. All right, fair enough. What do you give it?
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay. I loved it. I gave it a 4.5, and I'll get more into it as we go along in our finales in a few weeks. Last but not least, our main event of the evening. It's not, honestly, the show wasn't as good as the other shows that we talked about already, but the ending I thought was really nice and really complete. It is the absolute completion series finale of Duke of Death and His Maid season 3, as well as the entire series.
We only had one stupid ass song this season. It
was like two.
What was the second?
What, or am I thinking of another anime that broke out into the song?
We had.
That's right. I'm thinking of Misfit, where they broke out in the song 2 weeks ago.
Oh, the one about fucking.
No, not the one about fucking. It was the one about how like glorious Anos is, or something like that.
No, they were singing about fucking.
Were they singing about fucking? I don't think they were singing about fucking.
If you didn't read the fucking lyrics, that they were totally talking about having sex.
Didn't get that at all.
You should just rewatch that scene then.
I might have to go back and rewatch that scene.
You should definitely go back and rewatch that scene. But yeah, Duke of Death. We only had one stupid ass song, and that was right in episode 1, and then we didn't get any fucking more. No more padding out this dumbass songs. I'm glad.
No. But no, we get basically a lot of conclusion from that standpoint. A lot of the final pieces. Basically, Walter officially becomes the heir. What's his face? Bochan. He basically tells Alice, starting with the episode, like, hey, like she calls him Bochan. She's like, I'm not gonna be Bochan for long, so I want you to get used to calling me by my name. She's like, Victor Sama, Victor Sama. And it sounded like I thought that she was gonna get like more orgasmic as she goes along to embarrass Bochan. Oh, Victor Sama. But no, she's just like Victor Sama. That would have been fine. Yeah, it would have been. But no, so she gets used to calling him Victor. His actual name. He's named after his grandfather, as we know. And so basically, he goes to the mansion. He's determined 1000% to marry Alice. And his mother's like, you know what? That's fine. I'm not going to sit here and deny the love. And he's like, that'll officially mean that, you'll renounce your nobility. Walter will become the heir. You'll have to give up the house. And that's it, And he's like, that's fine. He's like, can we just use the house up until the wedding? And then I'll move out after the wedding. And she's like, that's more than fine. No problem. So then Walter becomes the heir, and then there's a brief bit where Walter is like being like discussing his like prominent like partners, and Walter's like, "Do we have to do this right now?" And he's like, "Yeah, you should be thinking about this because this is part of your future. You're now the heir." Da da da. And by the way, we did skip over that Walter basically did congratulate Bochan afterwards, like, "Hey, in all seriousness, congratulations on your love, your wedding, breaking the curse. I'm really happy for you, brother," which was really nice. But then going back to the part where they're talking about the prospective wives, we basically the mother asks Walter. Like, you like that girl that you were with at the ball, huh? And he's like, yeah, I do. And she's like, okay, well, you got to introduce me. You got to talk to me about the family history so we can clear all that. And, we'll consider her if that's the case. And right on cue, as he's walking out the door, he's in the hallway. And what's it called? Huh?
Sate's talking to the mom.
Who? What?
Sate?
Oh, yeah, Sade is talking to the mom. Yeah. Well, and so that's funny. Sade busts in basically and tries to like vouch for Dalith. And Dalith, to her point, is floating by the window and saying like, hey, that kiss, you remember? I'm trying to find a way to kiss you and I just don't know how. And Walter's like, let's do it now. Let's do it now. And he kisses her and the magic dispels. She almost falls. And Sade is the one that saves her from busting her ass and dispels and gets rid of her magic. Dalith is officially no longer a witch. She is human. She no longer has magical powers, and she can live a normal life with Walter. And all's well that ends well from that perspective. And by the way, went backwards to when Sade was talking to Walter's mom about the family and stuff. She's like, "Yeah, we're basically royalty. We run a whole country somewhere in the world." And, don't worry about it. Like, I'm not a nice person, but my sister is a really nice and sweet person. And I think her and Walter will get along just fine. Da, 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 da. And the mom's like, okay, then. Interesting. So then as we go along, we get some final like goodbyes. Not goodbyes, I guess, but they basically send out the wedding invitations. And we see Alice talking to Cuff and the circus people about all their things. And then we see Bochan talking to the ringleader. And is basically saying like, hey, we're no longer nobility. We want to buy a house in town. Can you, buy us a house? Any way you can get me a job as like something in art? Like music. I love music. I love the piano. And he's like, yeah, I'll be happy to set you up with a house somewhere in the town. That's fine. And I'll speak to my orchestra friends, and see if they have a need for a full-time pianist. And he's like, oh, that would be great. Da da da. So they're preparing to set up their lives. And one of the pieces before the wedding is basically with Rob, and Rob doesn't know what he wants to do, whether he wants to return to the mansion and work under Walter and Alice's mom, or whether he wants to stay with Bochan and Alice. Eventually he does decide he's going to stay with Bochan and Alice, and he speaks to Viola, and Viola gets some sense of closure. They share a gift, they share the conversation about talking about how he's gonna stay with her. And basically he asks Rob asks Viola, like, what are your like future plans? And he's like, she's like, I love cheering on people. She's like, I get the happiest when I see people like I give advice to or I help and they succeed, that they're happy, and like I love that the most. So whatever I do, I want to have like a career or a job where I help people, because I think that'll reward me the most. And it was a nice touching moment between Rob and Viola, just having simple conversation about growing up in the future and things of that nature. And then we get more of the wedding invites. Basically, they send one to Nico and his wife, and to what's his face, the other sensei, the midget, and
the unicorn dude.
yeah. Give me a second. I'll find the fucking names. Where's Duke? Duke of Death
I
is
forgot.
made.
It was like a stupid name.
One second. Ichi, Nico, and Flea.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Flea Sensei. So he sends the three. They can't attend because of the fact that Nico is old and decrepit and he's on death's door. But he wishes them well. They send one to Philip, and Philip says that he'll be there with his wife, and he wants to basically like start over. He wants to start over and be friends with Bochan again, and he's happy that he's getting married and happy that he broke the curse, things of that nature. And then we see the ringleader and his wife. They send an invite to the wife. The wife is there. Basically, Sade uses her magic so she can live outside of the water for a little bit to attend the wedding, things of that nature. So that was nice. Cup and Zane are there, obviously. Family's there. And then basically the episode kind of ends with Bochan and Alice. And keep in mind, there's a part where basically Bochan's like, I'm not even going to kiss her until my wedding. And it's like, same thing. It's the same premise of like, come on. But we get the wedding. It's a beautiful nuptial. And the episode ends, in essence, with Victor, with Bochan, Victor, kissing Alice for the very first time as they say their I do's and they're officially married. And it's just a really nice, touching scene, things of that nature. So solid. I didn't like season 3 as much as I like season 2. I think season 2 is still probably the best season of the 3. The last couple episodes though were really solid, I'd say. And at the end of the day, there were still plenty of points in the season where like you found like emotion, right? Like with things when we first saw Victor and his wife, that was emotional. The Daleth scenes, those are emotional. Seeing stuff with Rob, Viola, like there were various aspects that made me emotional throughout the series. And for that, anytime that an anime can create emotion that touches me, I'm always going to rate it higher. Even though I didn't enjoy the season as much, I felt some of the fights were kind of lame. Some of the premises in terms of how everything went down was kind of lame. But just in terms of like the overall like big moments, the big impactful moments, I thought those stood out for me. So I give this 4 stars. And I give the series as a whole a 4.25.
Overall, because I'm going to just count this as like all three as one thing since the story's finishing, I'm giving it a 3. I love the story. A 3. I love the story. I hated season 2 for all the stupid ass songs, but like whatever. In the past. But overall, I dislike the use of how colorful this series is. The series is supposed to be like, oh man, this dude is depressed and stuck alone. Why is this world so colorful? And the 3D like took me out of it.
I don't watch many shows that have a lot of CGI, but this is one of the shows that I think does CGI pretty well. Like I had no problems with the CGI, and I get your point in terms of like it's a Tim Burton-esque anime, so it should be darker, but it is very vibrant.
Yeah, I don't like that. It should be, the colors should be more muted. It shouldn't be like everything should be bright. Everything shouldn't be like.
Would you like it more if this was black and white?
Yes, actually.
If this is black and white, yeah, I could probably see it being a little better. And then maybe the finale.
I would find it very
finale. Imagine the finale being in color.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, now that you say that, that makes a lot of sense. But no, I enjoyed the love story. There is a tangible relation to it. Like imagine you live your life. You can't touch a living thing because whatever you touch dies. And that's basically how the story ends. You get the narrator, and the narrator just basically goes over Bochan's life and how now Bochan's happy that he lives his life normal. and through all the trials and tribulations. So that was really nice. And just in general, like you can kind of pick up those vibes from it. And I just thought it's really nice, and it was a really like touching conclusion. Like, you know, like you sometimes get like some other like side endings beyond just the marriage and things like that. Sure, an epilogue would be nice, like, you know, seeing him and Alice with children or whatever the case may be, seeing grown up Viola and Walter and Dallas with children. There's room for an epilogue if they had done one, but just the principle of like that final like first kiss, their final embrace, like capping the season, I thought was really well done. And just overall, like I said, the love story is good. The magic is, you know, pretty good. The comedy is great, from the sexual comedy, the ecchi comedy, to the just overall like dry humor. Plenty of funny bits. The musical composition, I will always praise Duke of Death's musical composition, just because I love those type of things, the slow ballads, classical music, things of that nature with the piano. Those were always well done. Yeah, the breaking out of songs is kind of corny, but the whole point of the musical composition is to expound on that. And so from a musical composition standpoint, I thought that was really well done, even if the premise of the actual doing of the song in the middle of the story was whack and corny and detestable. So I mean, it's got its good points, but I think one of the key points is this good love story and the CGI. Like I said, a lot of people don't like CGI in anime. I think the absolute best example of CGI is probably Trigun Stampede, the new one. That's wonderfully well done. And there's other examples as well with good CGI, but it's still a really solid example of how you can do CGI right. So yeah, that's about it from that standpoint. I can't think of anything else, Chris. You got any final thoughts?
I'm still having fucking awards are gonna be torture. Like things are probably gonna next.
See, the benefit, I watched a lot of shows, but to the benefit of not watching as many shows as you or Matt, like I'm able to like easily like, you know, like I was able to pick out a good 12. My 13 is still like, I'm not sold, but I wouldn't be sold on any of the shows that would qualify.
Oh, I've been changing my shit around like all week.
If I can put Whisper in here, honestly, then it would make my 13 super easy. I would put Whisper would be my 13, and then everything else would kind of follow from that standpoint. And I think I'm good. Like where I have everything rated at this stage is pretty solid. Like I said, the only possible thing I can think of is Demon Slayer, like maybe going up one position, but everything else where it is right now, I dig it. So, but yeah. Any other thoughts, Chris?
Yep, that's all.
And that's all she wrote, folks. The cafe is closed. Once again, Chris Zephyr, thank you so much for stepping in for Matt during his time of need. Matt, we do hope you get better. Wishing you a speedy recovery. And I know you're on the fence now because of this for Sunday. I'm very much looking forward to seeing you on Sunday, God willing, so we can enjoy some AEW in Long Island. For those of you that don't know, I'm going on vacation starting Friday. So I will not be here next week, and I doubt I'll be caught up. Maybe I'll be caught up, but I doubt I'll be caught up for the following week. So you're going to at least get one more week of Chris next week with Matt as they discuss hopefully the Blue Lock movie. I think that's one of their title pieces, and they'll go over all the other. Yep, and they'll go over all the other finales that do remain from that standpoint. I believe, I don't know how many finales you have in general, but I know Jobless will be finishing. And Demon Slayer will be finishing, Kaiju will be finishing, and a couple other ones I think from you guys' side. But outside of that, as we wrap up, yeah, just want to say thank you so much again for watching this show. You can follow us on our socials. You can follow Chris. What is that? Your Twitter, Chris, or is that your Instagram?
Twitter.
Yeah, that's your Twitter. Okay, you can follow Chris on Twitter at Chris Zephyr, CRYSZEPHYR. You can follow my Twitter at SHOSTOPPA24. That's Showstopper24. You can follow my anime Instagram at Anime Daisuki24, ANIMEDAISUKI24. All of our links, all of our socials have links where you can follow our channel and our program wherever you listen to your local podcasts, iHeart Music, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcast, you will find us there. You can type us in Google. You will find us there. Otaku Cafe. You will definitely find us there. Want to thank Sean for being our editor and W2M Network for being our host platform. Do want to thank Chair Shot Media and Dirt Sheet Radio, Matt's Productions, or Matt's, I guess, co-productions, whatever you want to say, for hosting us as well. You can follow them on their socials from that standpoint. You can watch the live replay of this episode and every episode every single week on YouTube and on Twitch. Just type in W2M Network and you will find us there. Not this week on Twitch because there was already a show going on Twitch, so you won't find us there this week as far as I know. Maybe you will. We shall see. But in any case, outside of that, I think that's it, folks. So until next time, goodbye, Sekai.
See ya.
The sun goes to sleep, I find myself in a heap because it hurts so much to be away from you. It makes my day when I get a text from you, but still I say goodbye again. Let's hope this isn't the last time that I see your face, but hey, it's fine. I know everybody needs a little space. There's no one to blame. Goodbye again. Let's hope this isn't the last time that I hear your voice, but it's your choice. I can't keep you here forever. Just promise me that you'll come back.